In my previous stream, as I was playing around with the settings and getting experimental, there seems to have been an issue where it just became streaming Rumble graphics. So I restarted it, started a new stream. So here we are. I'm gonna go to check if it's still working. Okay, yeah. So it appears to be working now. So here we are. Gonna restart. I'm gonna reset. I'm gonna send the link again. I'm going to be playing Chuck Langenberg audio while cooking. There you go. I just started cooking my fast breaking meal and see if I end up doing OMED or 2MED today. So the people that have been following me online for a while know that I do OMED fasting, which means that I eat only one time per day and fast above at least 20 hours per day. And now and then I eat 2 times after breaking my fast, but the main thing is fast at 12 plus hours per day. And I've been doing OMED fasting for around 5 years now, which means I eat only one time per day. Not 10 days at least. And now and then I eat more than once, like 2 times. So most days all mad, now and then 2 mad, and on an even rare occasion, 3 mad or like 3 or 4 times. But most days I do all mad fasting, eat one time per day, and I fast 200 plus hours per day. I just started cooking my fast breaking meal, and yeah, okay, I gotta make some changes to the stream here. Subscribers only chat. Neighbor slow chat. Subscribers only. And I go to YouTube. Should have put no strangers there. I'm a Christian target individual. I'm the target of a secret persecution program called gang stalking. And one of the things I like to do in my streams, on top of getting the word out myself by talking about gang stalking or target videos, which I'm talking about, is to play audio from Chuck Langenberg. And sometimes I show his website. So Chuck Langenberg, late target Chuck Langenberg, he was a target as I am, and he was unalived, murdered by the program, I believe, after several years of work to get the word out to what I'm doing. He was audio only, so he had a talk show call-in radio show that he was using to get the word about gang stalking, and he also had a website. So those are two things that I use to help get the word out: Chuck Langenberg's audios and Chuck Langenberg's website. And Chuck Langenberg was working to get the word about gang stalking for many years until he was murdered by the program. That's what I believe happened to him. And I kind of picked up the torch a little bit. Now, I've been more valuable to talk videos than Chuck Langenberg, which is not a diss of Chuck Langenberg, meaning what people can hear me. So it's not that it's like you had to listen to Chuck Langenberg. People can learn by listening to me. The things I've been teaching that Chuck didn't teach people, but Chuck Langenberg was valuable to the TIA community. And I'd say I'm even more valuable. And part of me becoming as valuable as I am to taught videos and teach the truth about gang stalking, how to deal with it, is having listened to Chuck Langenberg. And yeah, So as I go to the kitchen and cook, I'll be playing Chuck Lagerberg audio.
5. Hello, my name is Chuck. My nickname is Van of Vancouver, Washington, U.S. Welcome to this show, TalkShoe show number 120297 at TalkShoe.com. This show is being recorded, and anything said will go into the public domain. Thus, everyone is entitled and encouraged to copy and republish any part of this call, of the MP3 recording, and any text that I entered into the accompanying text. You do not need permission, and no notification is needed. To find more of these public domain audios, go to the top right corner of any TalkShoe.com screen and search for Vancouver or show number 120297, or click the top left Live Now button to see which show is presently underway. The time out here on the west coast of the U.S. is 10:40 a.m. on Friday, June 8, 2011. This is episode number 3001. I have on the phone with me Loco in LA, and can you hear me? And how are you today?
Yeah, I can hear you. Do that intro's a little long. It's 10:40 p.m., not a.m.
I'm sorry. Thank you. 10:40. Yes, 10:40 p.m.
on 12:40 a.m. in Louisiana. Are you free, Washington?
All right.
Anyways, I just wanted to say I couldn't use my PIN to log in under Loco in LA because it's being used in another call right now, which is not. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. No, I have a question for you. It's pretty informal, but
I mean, I might have an answer depending on what's the question, but I'm not giving you shit.
I
gave you so much information before, and I had to learn new trends all over again.
Totally understand. I have a question. It's up to you. I appreciate. But you had me remove 3 calls that we did, and
Dude,
I'm asking.
Keep harping on that. Like, you talk about this shit every time I see you. Like, yes, you removed my calls from your show.
But it's in the. But this is in the. This is in the recording, and it's never been recorded. I've never had you on a recording. This time, I'm not going to remove it. And I'm just asking why you had me do that, please.
Oh, because I wanted to. That's why. So.
Okay. So what's been going on with you since those calls were in the fall of 2010, and here that was close to 2 years ago. What's new going on with you, please?
Oh, same shit, different day. No, nothing new. It's all the same shit, different day.
You made the comment the other night that we're on different sides of the fence. What did you mean by that, please?
Well, I just mean like I said, 75-25, maybe 25%.
So you think I'm? Go ahead.
I give all these guests and all these people logged in. Maybe we might have 2 real people in here looking for valuable information. The rest of them are just fishing. I might even know at least one of them, or they might think they know everything about me.
But
so that's what I learned about these calls. It's nothing but fucking chills and phonies.
A lot of shills and phonies on these calls at TalkShoe.com that are targeted individual oriented.
If there's any real targets listening to this that's on this call, don't tell these people shit. Don't tell them a fucking thing. Don't get on these calls and think you can build trust with somebody and you can trust anybody from any of these calls with anything. You don't want everybody to know. I never did.
Let's have some more on that because I totally agree with everything. I'm sorry?
I'm not trying to elaborate on anything. It's
okay.
Cut and dry.
It's pretty cut and dry, and I am totally with Loke on that one. So what's been going on with you in the last 2 year and a half since we've talked?
My computer. I was reading this news story earlier. This is so funny because. Like I said, it's real around here. Somebody, whatever. They need to kick in my door and fucking shoot me is what they need to do. If they're going to do anything, that's what they need to do. Anyways, I had put up a story earlier about this woman that was shot. The car fired 11 shots into a car, and it just fucking switched to a tab all by itself. Isn't it amazing? Just now did that.
But I mean, targeting wise, in your life, what's been going on? Do you mind telling us?
Oh, chemical warfare in many ways.
So you're still being harassed?
No, I mean, yeah, but it went more back to overt. Like, not overt, but they think they're overt. I'm seeing fucking familiar faces everywhere. They just don't know how familiar they really are.
Okay. And people are, but so they think they're harassing, but it's not bothering you very much. Is that the size of it?
Oh, man. You know what? It's like, what can you do? What can you do, you know?
So what's new with you? What's new in the last year and a half? I haven't heard your cheerful voice in a year and a half. I'm just curious, what's new, please?
Cheerful right now?
Figure of speech.
Nothing's new. Yeah, I'm sure it might be real fucking cheerful for you. You could be getting paid real well for this conversation right now.
I promise you, I absolutely have my...
I didn't come on these calls for like at least a year, maybe more. I don't even know. I don't keep track of time. You know, I didn't come on these calls, and I come to one call 2 weeks ago, and with my name, and what did Guest 28 say? Never mind. I'll pull it up. Hold on, I'll just pull it myself. But
whatever.
Everything's muted. 2 weeks ago. I come on these calls 2 weeks ago. You didn't have a show, and now all of a sudden you got a show and you're doing recordings again. Dude, you're so fucking obvious, man. Come on.
I can tell you what happened. I can tell you that in January of 2012, my show got shut down. My show number 87161, but they left the recordings. And for 4 months, I logged in, I listened, and I monitored other shows. I did not have my other show.
Let's pay attention here to the convenient timeline. Van first comes to Talk Shoe, 2 weeks before I got on Talk Shoe? And then, and everybody knows my computer's hijacked. So, I mean, me getting the links that I got that brought me here to start off with, I'm sure that's no coincidence because those don't exist. So you got a show 2 weeks before I come here, and you're doing recordings, and then, all of a sudden now you're doing recordings again. I'm just saying,
I can tell you that, I can tell you what spurred me to start the show.
What's been going on with your targeting?
What's been going on?
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. What I can tell you is, by the way, I want to tell you about my show. I want to respond to what you just said. What happened was Renita had a great call up till about 3 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden she used to record, but all of her calls disappeared, and now she's under the thumb, it appears, of and her calls were really down to earth, and she recorded, and there were 5 to 7 great recordings, and now they all disappeared, and she's under the thumb of freedomschs.com.
Oh, is this the first call period?
Pardon me?
Is this your first call period? You know what? I just want to say right now that it is Saturday, June 9th at 12:47 a.m. in Louisiana. I'm looking at this catalog right now, and it says 10:53 a.m. So I don't know what's really going on with this, but
where does it say 10? I don't see that 10:53 anywhere.
I'm gonna go get off the phone, so I'm not distracted.
Where does it say 10:50?
In LA, and I'm logging off at 12:47 a.m. Saturday, June 9th.
And this is Chuck in Vancouver, Washington, and I show 10:47 in Vancouver, Washington, and I have restarted my call, but I wanted to continue. I may have lost Loco. She's certainly welcome to call back in and continue. But what happened was Renita's calls went away, which I was really upset about because they were so credible, because her calls were so credible, but they all disappeared. And that is what spurred me to restart my calls. Not so much only that, but that her calls now are no longer what I would call down home. They are far-fetched. And Loco just typed into the chat room chatgrabber.com. So you can enter chatgrabber.com and enter this call number 120297, and then select out this date, which would be the top one, and you can listen to this recording. That is the end of this recording. We're going to click the end button. And I don't know.
Talk show. Recorded live.
Hello, my name is Chuck. My nickname is Van or Vancouver, Washington, U.S. Welcome to TalkShoe show number 120297 at TalkShoe.com. Anything said will go into the public domain. Thus, everyone is entitled and encouraged to copy and republish any or all of this MP3 recording file. You do not need permission, notification, or attribution. To find more of these public domain audios, go to the top right of any TalkShoe screen and search for Vancouver or 120297, or click on the top left to see if the show is live now. The time out here, and I should have had this ready to go. The time out here on the West Coast is 10 after 12 a.m. on Tuesday, June 12, 2012. And I have on the phone with me Lewis Ewing, who also has a TalkShoe show number. Lewis, can you give us a real short description of your TalkShoe, real short description of your TalkShoe show, and what do you have to say?
My Pro Se Winners Talk Show is just a group of individual pro se litigants. Lloyd Smith, Kurt Riggin, Matt from Michigan, Michael James Anthony. These are guys that have a track record of winning cases without an attorney. That's what pro se is. Go to
okay, and let's leave it at that. Now, the real question that we just talked about was your issue with your daughter, and can you give us a rundown of what happened, conspiracy theories and all, please?
My daughter allegedly died of sudden infant death syndrome, which I think is total bullshit. There's no such thing as coincidence. I do not believe in coincidences. I believe that my daughter died as a severe allergic reaction to erythromycin, which for some reason...
And how do you spell that real quick? How do you spell that real quick so that people can Google it or what have you, please? Oh, that's right. That's right.
Right there on the board.
Continue on it.
There it is. There it is right there on the board. Erythromycin. Erythromycin.
Okay, spelled ERYTHROMYCIN. And now please continue.
Erythromycin is a synthetic antibiotic. And what I discovered is you're not supposed to use erythromycin unless you have an established and proven allergic reaction to penicillin, which is a natural antibiotic.
Now, you talked something about slow acting and fast acting, and where the one is they can give you a shot, and another is they can rub it in. Go ahead and let's have that. I'm trying to keep this interview moving, please.
But Russian Jews are known. Their scientists are known to have perfected slow-release poisons, undetectable poisons. And they introduced the erythromycin by rubbing a small amount in her eyes. And I talked
now, how do you know that? I'm sorry, I'm being a pill here, but I'm just saying, how do you know that? Were you there? Go ahead.
Yeah, I had just barely walked in because I just got back to the hospital from visiting my boys who were being babysitted while my ex-girlfriend was at the hospital. And when I walked in and I started talking to her, all of a sudden the doctor came in behind me, was examining the baby, and all of a sudden I turned to look at him again because, like, why was he, like, spending so much time? And he was rubbing something in her eye, and I yelled at him to stop. What was he doing? And he said, it's no big deal. It's just an antibiotic. And I said, she doesn't need an antibiotic. She's not sick. And what is
now
that?
you're one of these guys that wanted. Let's hear the one about the birth certificates, about your previous 2 children who got out of the hospital without names, and let's hear that, please.
I got both my sons, little Lewis Jr., and Phoenix. I got both of them out of the hospital without giving the hospital names. I got no birth certificates, no fingerprints, no thumbprints, no nothing.
This is what, a couple of 3-4 years before the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why did you do that? That's because you're one of these guys that doesn't. Go ahead.
I don't believe in having state issued IDs. I don't need the government's permission to exist. I don't need the government's registration of my name, and I have a right to my privacy. My sons haven't committed a crime, so there's no need for them to be booked into jail and be fingerprinted and footprinted and birth certificated and registered in any kind of index whatsoever. It's none of the state's business.
And how many years ago was this, please? And let's not give any names. Let's not give any names of any hospitals or anything else.
Yeah. She died.
But how many years ago was this, please?
This was on June 9th, just 2 years ago.
Okay. And
she died 29 days later, and her eyes were red. Her eyes were red and inflamed, and the hospital told us
when she died, and so they were red and inflamed in the hospital, or when she died, please.
From the day that they rubbed that stuff in her eyes wouldn't stop hurting. She always rubbed them, and then the redness.
And she was just an infant.
She was just an infant. The redness went away in one eye, but it didn't go away in the other eye. And 29 days later, the hospital told us that she died as they believe a severe allergic reaction to anaphylactic shock. I mean,
okay.
And she died of anaphylactic shock as a severe allergic reaction to the erythromycin.
Okay, and now I'm so sorry to bring this up, but I heard you telling this story the other night, and now you feel that this might have something to do with you. The reason. Tell us the targeted individual implication of what you just described, please.
Well, I'm a government resistor. I drive with no license. I distribute flyers that teaches people how to drive without a license, no insurance, no seatbelt. You can smoke pot legally.
So you're on you've annoyed them big time.
Oh, I'm a big annoyance to the state. I mean, yeah. They don't like
here
it.
in the state of Washington.
They don't like people. Cops call people like me a constitutionalist or a patriot or a freeman because I drive without a driver's license.
Now, does anything else happen? Is there any other reason? Now, we've got 2 examples. One is that you drive without a license. One is that your youngster died. And is there any other reason why you might be considered? Why you may have provoked them? Targeting wise, please.
In 2004, Kurt Riggin and I beat the largest marijuana case in the state of Washington ever won by a pro se litigant. Kurt got busted for multiple felony counts of manufacturing marijuana. We're talking 166 pot plants, all over 6 feet tall, the best purple bud you'd ever smoked in your life. We beat it.
Okay, we don't need. Yeah. Okay, and any other reason why you might have provoked the law, please? Any other reasons?
Because in their eyes, in their eyes, we practice law without a license. We are not attorneys. We are not members of the bar. We never went to law school, and they can't have that. They can't have people who are not members of the bar.
Okay. Any other examples of things that you have done to really annoy them, to really get under their skin? State.
I've stopped 4 major tax trials on 3 different federal circuits.
Okay, now you're making some pretty big accusation that we're making. That I believe it was an accusation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that we're talking about potentially they intentionally killed your daughter, or they did that on purpose so that it would happen sometime later. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No. The one other thing they're mad about is when I had my first son at the hospital, little Louie, my ex-girlfriend tested positive for drugs, and they actually had plans to kidnap Louie, and they arrested him for 72-hour hold, and then another 72-hour hold. They tricked her into signing away her parental rights, and then they took our son, down to what's called a PIC facility, where
How do you spell
I
that? PIC? How do you spell that, please?
PIIC.
PIIC facility. Okay, and what is that, please?
That's a place where I've discovered that they sell babies for 150 to 250,000 to Canadian citizens.
Okay.
And this thing is owned by an LLC.
Yeah, let's not give any names because I'm trying to keep my show here without getting sued, and we haven't used any names of any doctors.
Right.
But are you saying that they literally? What else do you have to say about this PIIC facility? Without giving their name.
They fraudulently claim babies are drug addicted, and they pump them full of morphine, even though they're not drug addicted, to give the appearance.
Now, how do you know they pump them full of morphine? How do you know that, please?
Because they did that to my son.
And how do you know that, please? I'm asking a tough question, but I'm just asking you to go with me, please.
Because the doctors and the nurses told us that's what they do to all the babies that go to a PIC facility.
They pump them full of drugs in these PIC facilities so that it demonizes their parents.
Yeah, to cover up the tracks that maybe that the kids didn't test positive for drugs. And so if you try to go test later, they're going to test positive for drugs, and they're going to say, oh, no, the babies were drug addicted when they came here, and we had to put them on morphine to bring them down from drugs. But all the nurses at the hospital said my baby was healthy. It showed no sign of drug addiction. My baby boy was 10.5 pounds when he was born.
Okay, now I'm telling you, I've gone out on a limb here, and I hope I haven't risked the show, but we haven't given any doctors' names, any hospitals or anything like that. But do you have any other hand grenades that you want to throw before we terminate this interview, please?
They assigned a German Jew police officer named Teresa Berg who failed to investigate that.
Okay, hang on. Let's keep the religion out of this, please. Thank you. But please continue.
Yeah, well, they assigned that particular lady who refused to investigate the doctors. She didn't investigate the warning labels on Tyson packages.
On what kind of packages, please?
I found out that the warning label on
how do you spell that?
Warning, like a warning label. She refused to investigate the warning labels on the erythromycin. She failed to ask the doctor if he read the warning labels.
She was essentially okay. Any other hand grenades you want to throw before we end this off?
You're not supposed to give erythromycin to newborn babies.
Okay. Do you have anything else? By the way, why don't you give the Talk Show the number of your show before we end off here? What is the show number, please? I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, hold on. It'll take me a second to grab it out of my computer.
Sure.
I haven't actually memorized it yet.
Okay. Once again, this is... go ahead.
My little girl was poisoned.
Okay, we're killing this conversation here. That's right. Let's leave it off. Do you have anything else that you want to say before we terminate this interview?
No, I'm just gonna post.
Well, let's not post it. Let's see if you know what the number is. Let's say it on the recording because a lot more people are gonna hear it on the recording.
120418.
Okay, so the Talk Show number 120418 is Louis Ewing's show, and that's called what again, please?
Pro Se Winners.
Okay, and you're on, when is it presently on, please?
Every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay. Anything else that you want to say before we call this recording to an end?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay, Lewis, this is the first time I've talked to you. I've heard you a number of times on various shows. Thank you. Once again, my name is Chuck, and this is the end of the recording.
Recorded.
Hello, my
live.
name is Chuck. My nickname is Vancouver, Washington, USA. Welcome to TalkShoe Now, TalkShoe.com, show number 120297. This show is being recorded, and anything said will go into the public domain. Thus, everyone is entitled and encouraged to copy and republish any or all of this MP3 recording file. You do not need permission. No notification or attribution is necessary. To find more of these public domain audios, go to the top right corner of any TalkShoe.com screen and search for Vancouver or show number 120297, or go to the top left, live now, click on that. The time out here on the west coast of the U.S. is 4:25 p.m. on Thursday, June 14, 2011. I have on the phone with me Puri Dealana. We haven't spoken since December 25, 2010. How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
All right, and so you called out of the blue. What inspired you to call in, please?
Yeah, I just had a feeling that you'd be on, and I was correct you were on, so and I haven't gotten on TalkShoe in ages.
So now, are you still living down in the panhandle of Florida near Elgin Air Force Base?
Relocating.
You've relocated.
But yeah.
Okay, now we were talking about this interview number 1067 on TalkShoe call number 87161 that we did on December 25 of 2010. Mm-hmm. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I haven't been messed with those aircraft quite in some time. So no, that incident, they stopped doing that, at least to me. Those are drone aircraft, small drone aircraft that were unmanned, dark green. And they were actually engineered by an off-branch of engineering students that some of them intern at a corporation called Suns Microsystems, which is a computer technology system.
How do you spell that? Suns, S-U-N-S? How do you spell that, please?
Microsystems.
Oh,
S-U-N-S, like okay. Suns Micro, M-I-R-C-O system, S-Y-S-T-M-S system.
What else do you have to say on? Okay, you were talking and doing so great. Go ahead.
Nothing much. I haven't been harassed by necessarily any technology as far as mainly what they've been using is laser lights, all that stuff. I will say that I do actually have evidence of, and I have kept with me in a plastic baggie. One time when I walked, this was a while ago too, maybe about a year ago. I don't know, somewhere around then. I actually found a small microchip on the ground about the size of half your fingernail or your big thumb fingernail if you're looking at it. And I actually have it saved, and I actually have pictures uploaded, and I actually still have the evidence with me. And I cut the chip in half, and you can actually see where the copper is and all that stuff. And I found it on the ground during one of my runs to the entrance of the EOD base.
Okay, tell me more about this. Tell me more about this this aircraft that was stalking you. As I recall, you were like a block outside of Elgin Air Force Base in the Florida Panhandle.
It was Eglin Air Force Base, and it's off branch of Eglin Air Force Base. It's not actually.
How do you spell that? E-G-L-I-N?
E-G-L-I-N, yes. And it's off branch of that. It's an off branch of that, which is actually an EOD base. They actually have a bridge that they put up now over that before the entrance of the base because they're doing highway reconstruction. That's a whole different story altogether. But yes, during that time period, before any of that was going on, you have neighborhoods that run along that strip. It's called Range Road. And you have neighborhoods that run along that.
What was the name of that road, please?
Range Road.
R-A-N-G-E. Okay, please continue.
And anywho, the neighborhoods, about the fourth one down, is where it's about 9 to 11 something at night, whatever those times were. That's when I had one of the aircraft hovering right beside me on my left shoulder, and it was literally in an entrance to one of the neighborhood streets. And yeah, anyone could have seen it, but no one did. But yeah, it was.
But they were,
very
as you put it, they were showing off their toys or something like
that.
Yeah,
they were showing off their toys. Now I think they have had repercussions as far as FFA go and all that good stuff because they have not.
As far as say that again, there's been repercussions. How so? Please repeat.
Because the SAHA, which is a Federal Aviation.
Uh-huh.
So,
that's why I think they've kind of shut those down. I haven't seen any of those types of aircraft or drones or anything like that being shut off. Now, I have seen laser lights from those previous incidences. That hasn't happened, but more in the future, they have had different types of laser lights shown. But other than that, no, it hasn't. I haven't been really harassed in that manner, and I've been once I kind of left that area, it was pretty good. Besides the people trying to come up to me and ask me, people that I know weren't necessarily that good for me, trying to come in and find things about me. Like, for example, I was with someone of special ops, and I'm like, well, why would someone like that want to be with someone like me? Not to say I'm like that boring of a person, but at the same time, you got, I know those people and they got better things to do. And so for someone to make that decision, I knew that I was being watched, and intel was assessed. And the guy even said he was in intelligence, and I'm like, oh, fucking great, because they're in units. Special ops, you happen in units. A group of 12 people to one group. However, that doesn't happen. It's usually 7 to 9 because they're short-handed, and you have everyone that knows all the basic knowledge. But at the same time, you have everyone in the group that's specialized. You have one intel person, one weapons person, one communications person, and so forth. So you have like Echo, Fox, all that good stuff.
But you weren't just something the cat drug in. Your dad was Air Force officer or something like that, as I recall, or what?
Yeah, I won't give
what was the deal?
I won't give it too much information on that because I don't want to drag other people into it. But yes, it was a pilot, to say the least. But yeah.
Okay, so that might be one reason why they're stalking you. What would you call it? Stalking? Surveillance? What do you call it?
I would call it surveillance. I mean, I've been left alone for a while. I do consider myself a psychic, and I do think that has something to do with it. I have been approached by military before at a metaphysical event who literally asked me questions come out of nowhere. I was harassed one time in a metaphysical event a few years ago by a man and a woman, both in their middle ages. Both Caucasian, but not pale. One was 6 foot. The woman was like 5'4", 5'5" maybe. She had dark brown hair, almond eyes, and the guy had like gray bluish eyes and dirty blonde hair. And they boxed me, and they started questioning me. They came out of nowhere, and he was asking.
They boxed you in on the road in your vehicle or on foot?
In the metaphysical event, when I was the metaphysical event was inside, so I was actually with 2 friends, and we were just having a fun, time, whatever.
So here we are. You're down in Florida, and they had some metaphysical event down there. Was that primarily
they have one every
military
year.
related, or what was it?
No. It's a metaphysical event. It's like not military related whatsoever. It's a metaphysical event, which means you have things like alternatives such as Reiki and stones and psychic readings, aura pictures, people that make jewelry. I mean, a bit of everything.
Now, do you believe in all that stuff and those psychic readings? Do you believe in all that stuff?
Okay, let me put it this way: you have like any field, you have the genuine people and you have the con artists. Believe me, there's a ton of psychics out there that are full of bullshit and con artists, and there's also some really good ones. I know ones that work with FBI. I know ones that have nice jobs and do what they do. So believe me, there's really legit ones out there, and then there's ones that are full of shit. And it's just wading through all that. And you got to think about it like this. Everyone has the ability to be quote-unquote psychic. That's not knowing what number from 1 to 10 you're going to pick. It's a lot more complicated than that. But, for example, you have kids that play soccer. A lot of people can play soccer, but it's to what degree? So you have kids that are playing soccer recreationally for fun. That's one thing. Then you have people that are on the varsity team, so they're a little bit better. Then you have people that are on the college team, a little bit better. And then, of course, you have the professionals. So
okay, but we're getting into the psychic thing.
So, yeah.
Some of it might be...
It's the metaphysical event. The metaphysical festival has a lot of different people. It brings a lot of different people together.
How many people were there? 100, 1,000? How many people were there?
I would
a dozen?
say definitely a few hundred at that time. So, like I said, it's a pretty.
And what city was this in? What city is this in?
I won't say what city, but I will say that it was in Florida at the time.
And how did you happen to be invited to it? Do you mind telling us?
It was
Once again, this is a public domain interview. This is public domain, unedited. Anybody can have it. So it's up to you on what you want to disclose.
Yeah, this was an open venue. You had to pay, but it was an open venue other than that. So anyone can get in. Now, some of the other ones I've been invited to, I've been invited to other metaphysical and psychic events, which you cannot just be invited in. I mean, you cannot just come in. You have to be invited in, kind of, premier groups, if you want to call them that, for lack of
Now,
better
why do you
terms,
suppose you were invited? Because it's fairly well known, I'm guessing, that you're a psychic?
Yes, partially. However, I don't do readings or anything like that. Now, at that time, years ago, no one knew really what I did besides my family and a few close friends, and even then, people only knew if I did a reading on them. But I still don't do readings for the general public. I go up to people and tell them what they need to tell them, but I don't put my name out there, so to speak. But anywho, these two people, my friends were getting their aura picks done, and I was standing by the white table waiting for them. And there was a wall behind me, and these two military personnel, like I described earlier, came in on the right-hand side through a door, and they literally just came right to me, saw the aura pick in my hand, and said, "Oh, yeah, you got this done? We're getting to get this done, too."
What about your hand? What was that? What they shook your hand? What was it?
An aura picture in my hand. It was something.
What does that mean? Aura picture? Help me out, please.
It's a type of, basically, when it's at one of these events, it's a machine, and it basically takes your picture and the colors behind you and all that stuff, and it's your aura. But I won't get into that.
Oh, aura.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So anyhow,
okay.
I just did it because I knew my friends. I wanted them to have a good time, whatever. So I got that done. I was just waiting for them.
Sure. Now, getting back into the targeting part of this, we talked on December 25, 2010, and we talked about this issue, and you had a number of examples. What examples do you have about that sort of thing that may have happened to you since that call, please?
Yeah, so hang on. Okay, so back to what I was saying with the two military individuals that came up out of nowhere, and he didn't ask my name. He didn't say, "How were you?" There was none of that type of conversation. He literally, after he asked about the aura pick, saying, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to get it done," whatever, which they didn't because I saw them leave after they questioned me. He said, "Okay, how long have you been able to read people? How often do you read people?" He just started asking me a slew of questioning.
How old was this guy? I mean, was he 20? Was he 60?
I told you, they were in their 40s. They were in their
40s,
middle
okay.
age. So, and I already gave you their description. But
Sure.
They were in full uniform too, and they didn't have any conception of space because they were like an inch in front of me. They were using an authoritarian tactic by their uniforms and the lack of space. But I kept calm, and I answered their questions, and then I was like, well, fuck, this guy's asking me all these damn questions. I need to ask one back. So I was like, okay, well, he was like a captain of ranking of some sort. I don't remember, but I asked him point blank, since he was asking me all these crazy questions. I said, well, then, with your abilities, do you manipulate your soldiers to do things, basically? And without hesitation, this guy said point blank. He told me straight up that, of course, yeah, I manipulate my soldiers, da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, what the fuck? And then, after that, he walked off, and the woman didn't
put an
say
end to that conversation.
Yeah.
All right, and that was how long after December 25, 2010, when you and I last spoke, please? Do you recall, or is that open?
Today's fast.
I want to say that was maybe March of the. Well, actually, maybe that was before. I'm not sure. I'd have to go look back at my log.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It was in the first quarter.
But I will tell you that lately, like I said, the only thing that's happened lately from previous to now would be the microchip that I found that I still have.
And you mentioned that microchip off the air. Why don't you briefly discuss that and how you think it applies, please, on the tape?
Microchip I found when I was actually jogging, and it was before I got to the base, and it was actually like covered where it looked like it would be just dirt, but then I saw, it's kind of shiny. So it actually has, like I said, very, very small, like half of your big fingernail if you were to take it. It's round, it's circular. It had a brown strip that went around the circumference, and then the top was like a copper color with 3 rings. And then when I cut it open, you could actually see the green chip on the inside with the copper wire running through it. And I actually have pictures, and I also have it, like I said, still in a plastic bag. And at the time when I was dating whatever you want to call it, special ops person, there was special ed, but no, I asked him, I actually showed it to him, and I said, well, can you tell me what this is? And he's like, yeah, it's like a chip of some sort. And well, I said, you know, well, what is it? Who can I send? And he's like, I really don't know. Maybe you should send it to is it CID or DIC or something? Basically the Army equivalent of investigations for these sort of things.
Lactose-free ingredients.
Of course, because they were Army. But
Right, I take lactose.
It was just retarded. I was like, really? No one knows what the fuck is this? So, I mean, everyone knew it was a chip of some sort because of the holes and all that, but no one knew.
Didn't look like it came out of your average PC or anything like that, huh?
No, I mean, even he didn't know what he was, and he was a weapons expert, but turns out these people don't do the same thing. They don't even pick out their damn bullets anymore. They have people in the, like, it used to be the snipers that pick out their own bullets and all that, but now they actually have people that specifically their job is to pick out the certain types of bullets for the soldiers and all that. So times have changed with what people have to be knowledgeable of and what they don't. So it's quite interesting in that respect.
I do that.
So what else may have happened targeting-wise since December 25 to 10 when we last spoke?
Just random people coming up to me. You know, even the house I'm moving into, it turns out FBI used to live there. And I've had other types of interesting individuals come up to me, whether they are military, whether they, for example, one of the other people I knew, I met him randomly, and turns out his step brother is really high up in the DOD, which if you don't know what that is, it's the Department of Defense. And he was talking about all this different technology and how they have a satellite and how his step brother actually let him use one of the satellite things because he was an aircraft mechanic and let him use one of the satellites. So some
aircraft mechanic is got access to a satellite, or what's that about now?
Well, yes, because not access to it necessarily, but his step brother let him play with it for like not that long. I mean, just like for one thing. I mean, they were watching him when he was doing it, but it was a satellite basically because he's like, okay, step brother. Who was like one of the high people up in the DOD, and the guy was like, okay, well, how good are your satellites? And the stepbrother's like, well, I can show you how good our satellites are. And he's like, what do you want to see? And he's like, if you could view anything, what do you want to see? And he's like, my next door neighbor's house, which is kind of funny. And so they actually zoom in not only to the next door neighbor's house, but they can zoom in to the driveway, to the car, all the way to see the plate tags clear as day. So the technology they have is quite amazing, and what they haven't released out to the public yet. And just all these people, some of the high-profile people that I'm running into is like uncanny, to say the least. So it's kind of being wary of that, I guess you could say.
Now your parents were your father, I think you said, had a high-ranking position. Do you think they did anything with you to give you special powers, or do you think it just?
No, I don't think that. I think it's just the way it is. My aunt was very gifted in that sense. I think it's not. There's no rhyme or reason for it, at least as far as I know. But no, I don't think they did anything as far as that goes.
Okay, and now from.
I'm gonna call my wife. Good. Right. Life good. I. Sad. I called her before. Yeah. Babe, I'm live on the internet, so don't say secret thing now.
Okay.
And now, why you look beautiful?
I'm watching series.
Why you look beautiful? Why you look beautiful now?
Huh?
Why you like to look beautiful every time? Why you Why you look
Thank
every
you.
time?
I'm watching series now.
Wife feels that. She said her instincts are just like she starts digging holes, so she'd be on the lookout for the mirror. That's understand it. And she said this. Falling ambushes. Okay. She's like a Vietnamese jungle Asian. They probably had the Vietnamese people, the Koreans and stuff. But she's a jungle Asian. She lives in the rainforest. So anyway, babe. Um, how you, babe?
Mm, not bad.
Remember, I'm live now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm watching series now.
Okay, babe. I'm eating.
What did you eat?
First time
What
today.
are you eating?
This is kind of like a stew, you could say. It's macaroni.
Ah, wow.
It's macaroni and cheese and tuna. 1 can of Heinz beans in tomato sauce. It has macaroni, tuna, Gouda cheese, coconut. It has many ingredients now. Coconut milk, chili, garlic, uh, olive oil, salt, Heinz beans in tomato sauce.
Ah, sounds
Yeah.
tasty.
Do you want to say hi to my viewer today before?
No,
Okay, now. Sometimes she wants to, sometimes now. But you look beautiful now.
thank you.
Yeah. So, I didn't cut my hair yet. I might cut my hair tonight or tomorrow. We'll see.
Mhm. Wow, cheese.
Hmm?
Cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um,
Yeah.
okay, if you watch series, if I'm not finished, I will call you now.
Okay, now I gotta finish eating. And I'm live on YouTube and Rumble.
Enjoy with your time.
Thank you, babe. I love you now. Talk later, babe.
Love you too.
Enjoy with the time now.
Talk later.
Okay, bye bye now. Chup, chup. So she's gonna watch some a Korean drama show or something like that. She watch a series. Maybe some Korean drama. I don't know. Let's get back to en Chuck Broader if I can.
Early 2011. What based on what you know, and you do seem to know a lot more than most of us do. What do you have to say to targeted individuals? What do you have? What advice do you have to give, please?
Well, keep strong, know your sources, document. If you want people to believe you, you better have good documentation. Keep all the evidence, document from times, all that. Don't let it get to you. I know people go crazy, but really, you need to build your own strengths and your own networking community. The more surface area you can cover and the more public you make yourself, that's having the right friends, having the right family, and really getting support. I mean, not going crazy with it, but just letting them know you're okay. You have to have a lot of these people, they get themselves in bad situations because they're unemployed. They're kind of just staying as a hermit, which fine, but you're also letting yourself access to easy target because people are less likely to mess with you when you're out in the public eye because people are going to see it. People are going to note it. Like, for example, if you you abducted someone that had no contacts, no one might call in a report until 3 weeks later.
That's why I want to delete my YouTube channel because I've been having too much documentation, being harassed and stalked in public, essentially.
No one knows that person, so
Sure.
they don't know that Bobby is missing. Whereas if you have someone in the community goes to work every day, eats at X restaurant, sees family or grandma every week, and that person doesn't show up, you better believe that there's going to be calls within the hour or something pretty fast. So
but in your case,
yeah, if you're targeted, wherever you go, perhaps you quickly get dispatched. Meaning, sometimes I can notice that it takes some time. But if I go to the corner store, sometimes it's like early in the morning or raining outside. or like a cold day, I can tell sometimes it's like less percent to stalk me. Now, a lot of times, as I leave, there's other people out in public and people are in kind of on the way to the corner store, supermarket, and go shop. I started with them. But sometimes I notice that it takes longer. So if I go to a corner store, maybe 1 or 2 or 3, 4 preps there. If I wait longer, it's like more people coming in. So
definitely been targeted, but in a different sense. You've had like high-falutin intelligence sources asking you questions, and they don't always identify themselves, I guess. Is that right?
Well, to an extent, I think some of them identify themselves, and most of them are pretty blunt. It's knowing, at the end of the day, you just got to know that everything you say is public, and that you got to be okay with that, and you got to don't have any dirty laundry hanging out there, and you won't really have any.
Push your food and stuff. Which why it's important that you take my advice to take the supplements I recommend to make yourself less vulnerable to being poisoned. And make it hard for the prone to sneak inside the home that way. Or to get inside and poison your food. So
issue. The thing is the truth definitely is helpful. And if you can be blunt and honest with these people and say, hey, this is what it is, this is what it isn't, and know when to shut a conversation off with these people and just walk the F away, then you're going to be fine. Really, you will be. And I don't, even if you have a lot against you, it still doesn't matter because there's a lot of people.
was the end of his life. Started reporting me targeted physically with food poisonings. Meaning them putting poison food in the supermarket, in the store. We had bought ice cream in the same place several times in a row. And one of the things Chuck said, if there's something you always buy, expect to be tampered, which makes sense. There's another thing I've been coaching on, kind of how to make it hard for people to poison in stores. They can get to stores and put poison food out on the shelf for you to pick up, and there's a whole skill to it. They can have store preps ready to be like, if you don't get the poison out, they'll put there for you right before you enter. They get told to take it off the shelf and check out with it. Okay. So Chuck Albert talked about being poisoned. Both by like he would buy food and it was poison. They would be pumping chemicals into his apartment towards the end. So before he died, he was reporting more physical targeting.
Take, for example, Harriet Tubman. She's the honest, she.
What was that name again, please? I missed that.
Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman. Okay, you mind spelling that, please?
Harriet Tubman. Remember the
so
slave?
No wonder
underground.
One of these coward punk perps that live in Sweden get sent to the supermarket, stalk harass me there. If you feel like I don't like you, you're part of a fucking army worker to destroy my life, bully me, target me, helping to poison me. A pro-nice worker to abuse me, destroy my life, poison me, and attack me all the time. No one I don't like, I understand. I don't give a fuck what you think. If you've been told this, I'm a pedophile, and this is just trying to keep an eye on bad people. You're the bad person, okay? Okay? And I'm not a pedo. And I'm not out looking to do bad things to people. Okay? So the smear campaigns, they're going to tell people that you're a pedo, or this or you're that, okay? If I was a pedo, the Swedish government would arrest me, put me in prison. I haven't even been charged, calling for an interrogation. I have been even suspected. They haven't found CP. There's nothing. But I know that there's a lie that you've been told I'm a pedo, understand? For the greater good, we need to keep an eye on Mike. For the greater good, keep an eye on bad people in society. I mean, in reality, you're the bad person. Most of you are child poisoners, okay? And you're part of a secret army, fucking stalking cult worker to destroy somebody's life and then did shit to you. So fuck you, understand? And leave the fuck alone. And don't show up around me in the supermarket harassing me, bullying me, and fucking with me, understand? Because I've been there too, not being happy about it. And I don't like people working to destroy my life, harassing me, stalking me. Gang stalking is real. And what I'm listening to right now is a radio show by another tornado, talk about the targeting. And he was getting the same targeting before he died and has a female game. That's started at T, I guess. So this program doesn't really stalk and harass you, they target you physically. I've been poisoned by phone before. And I hope that this can of Heinz wasn't poison. It was like a tail, like a red flag, where I opened it and the ring broke off, which could be a sign that they opened, resealed it. Okay. And it made it a little bit hard to open it, so the ring broke off. What is it? Not 100. But food poisoning definitely is a part of it. It's a part of it. And I've been teaching TIs, like, be unpredictable with the purchases. That makes it hard for it to poison you. So the problem can actually poison you in the supermarket. You already know, if you're a TIA, that they have people in the supermarket sent in there, and there can even be people working in stores that you frequent that are agents, okay? So how could they poison a person in the supermarket? Well, if you're told to go shopping, they're always going to have the store perps in there with their hand and their earpiece, okay? And they could have somebody put a poison, somebody they expect you to buy, say. It's like they study patterns. And it's like, which way you don't want to be predictable, okay? It's like, well, Mike always, if you go shopping, buys this brand of rice. He buys rice every time I go shopping, whatever other time. And it's only this brand, okay? If he buys coffee, it's this brand. And if he buys beans and tomato sauce, it's this brand, okay? It makes it easier to guess next time I go shopping. They can have prepared Heinz beans and tomato sauce can that they open, reseal with poison in. And then right before you enter, they put on the shelf. And then they had the store perps hovering around you, and they're ready. If you don't get the poison out of the shelf, they want to keep the poison thing on the shelf too long. They have a perp ready to go take it off the shelf. Okay. Red flags is stocking shelves, or if there's just a few items left on the shelf. Okay. Also, another red flag is if perps act as if they're guarding, limiting access to a certain part of the store, like they're blocking access, like a roadblock, where they have like people here. That's to make because they put poison shit on the shelves. They don't want other people to get it. It's like they can limit access to a certain shelf when there's something poison for you, and then put cards there to make it harder for somebody else to end up quick to go and get it off the shelf. And then if you don't get the poison thing, they send a store prep to take off the shelf and check out with it. Okay. So this is something that can happen. Another way they can target you is to have perhaps spray chemicals on it. That's another way they can target you. Meaning that happens. So you need to know what you sign up for, informed consent. You need to know what you're signing up for. You're part of a Sursetsen army, like the Sursetsen program. If you take orders to stalk torpedoes and arrest them and get sent to go over there on things, you're working to abuse the person, destroy their life, and they didn't get due process, but somebody's telling what a smear campaign is for the greater good or something like this. And this program is a slow murder program. They work to target the physically, psychological, all kinds of ways. So it's not just bullying, harassment. This program works to poison the target physically, psychologically, stalking, harassment, yes, but also target physically. The target video.
Okay. All right. Anyway, go ahead, please.
But what I'm saying is, one, she went against the tide. She was a woman, she was black, and she freaking let slaves, she helped them escape to the north, and she was a spy. People don't know that a lot about her, but she was actually a spy. So she did all these things against
so some things that can help with the target to make it harder for to poison you. First of all, take your vitamin C, the anti-poison. Okay. And that's been put back for a long time. You can check my playlist. I have a playlist with Tom Levy MD, vitamin C, antitoxin. Okay. So, in terms of food poisoning, well, here's some rules that I've developed and will teach you. Don't eat at restaurants and don't order home delivery, like Domino's Pizza or something like that. Don't order food. This makes it too easy for the person to poison you. Okay. If you order like pizza to your home, don't eat it at restaurants, because that will incentivize the program to recruit. If you frequent a certain restaurant in your city, that will incentivize the program to recruit people in the restaurant. You understand? If I started eating a pizza shop, they got like 10 of them in the city. If I started eating a restaurant, it become part of my habit. That will incentivize the program, but we need to get to the pizza baker, give him this little drop of water. But if this guy shows up ordering anything, your job is to put some drops of that. That's something that would incentivize the program to do that. Okay. So, don't eat at restaurants, okay? Worst case scenario, you eat at a buffet where everybody eats from the same tray, so that makes it a little bit hard for the poison you. you understand? It's like don't eat a restaurant where your food is prepared away from you. Some brings it to you. It's too easy for them to get to somewhere and poison you. Even eating a buffet restaurant, I've had people come in and spray something on my table, like perps. It was like a group of perps. They sprayed me in the face with a chemical once. I'm sitting eating at the corner table next to the entrance. There's a trio of perps come in. One of them is holding something in the hand with the head over, kind of turned. And I feel like a cloud. I feel something hit the right side. What face start reacting to? You could even have, like, if you look away, they have somebody put a powder over your plate. So even if you don't bring a plate of poisoned food, they can have perps in the supermarket that get put up to poison your food. Meaning, like, walk past and spray something or drop a powder if you're not looking. So I would recommend that you avoid eating at restaurants in general, as I told you before. Don't order home delivery food. Worst case scenario, I order things that are like packaged goods. Even that is a bit of a calculated risk. It's like ordering food, like canned food items, instead it's from online food outlet stores. Okay. Um, so what helps you to make it harder for them to work? Don't write any fucking comments right in the like button, okay? You're getting blocked on this motherfucker. Don't leave any fucking comments right in the like button, okay? People come watching you. Got 3 people watching now, and they're gonna leave a little comment there. And they're not gonna hit the like button because narcissistic piece of shit, understand? Most people. So don't leave comments right in the like button first. So here's the point. If you want to be and the gang stalkers, they have a job to watch my videos, subscribe to my channel, and harass me and push my buttons and stuff. So anyway, a lot of times you see me reacting to haters watching, and if you're not a hater, don't wear the shoe if it doesn't fit them. So that's the point. Yeah, so some things that can help make it harder for you to be poisoned. Some rules. Don't eat at restaurants. That's my advice. If you thought video, you don't want to get poisoned. You can't afford to be undisciplined if you thought video. You know more, understand? You have to be disciplined and have certain rules and avoid certain things and do other things. You can't afford to be a lazy slob because that makes it easy for them to target you. So if you thought video, some things that can happen like a poison, that is make it harder, is to be unpredictable with your purchases. Meaning, don't always buy the same thing at the same place at the same time. You're gonna buy food, vary it, okay? Don't write a shop list we're gonna shop. Don't talk about what you're gonna buy before you go buy. Don't tell somebody on the phone. Don't write it down. Don't talk about. It's like barely think about. Okay, you can think about it, but it's like don't write it out. Okay, don't write down a shopping list ahead of time what you're gonna buy tomorrow, because there could be a way they could figure out, okay. I mean, if I were writing something here, you could see it. So the program spies on you so they could see it, okay. So if you would write down a shopping order and have it on a desk, you walk out with your phone, they can look through back end. So generally, don't write down what you're going to buy, okay. Don't plan in advance or talk in advance what you're going to buy. Be unpredictable with your purchases. So mix things up, okay. It's like just mix things up. Make it hard for a program to guess what you're going to buy when you go shopping. And another kind of rule, don't buy something with just a few items left. If you're going to buy milk and there's just 2 bottles of the milk you're going to buy in the supermarket left, don't buy it, okay? Also, visually inspect anything you're about to buy and look for anything that stands out. Meaning there could be something that they marked it, like a little permanent market dot on the milk that's like a sign, this is the poison milk for the TI to buy. And if you don't get it, that perp knows which one to take off the shelf. Like look for one that has a dot over there, okay? So, yeah, be unpredictable with the purchases. Make it hard for everyone to guess what we're gonna buy. I don't recommend eating in a restaurant. Worst case scenario, a buffet, but still you have to be where they can have perps around you, spraying a chemical on your plate, understand? Or dropping some powder on you, something like this. So, be unpredictable in your purchases. So yeah, maybe you understand why I don't like the people that get sent to the supermarket when I'm there shopping because they're gang stalkers and get told to be around me. Because sometimes you people have been put up to spray me, attack me with a weapon before, okay? See? Which means I can treat you as a person who might do that to me any minute. Because you're working for a program. If you're a gang stalker, cyber stalker, sent to go where I am, you're a person working for a program. There's sometimes people like you that get sent to show up around me have had a spy get and sprayed a chemical on me, okay, or something else. So Yeah, I'm such a bad guy, so I don't like people like that. People that have a job to harass me and persecute me and attack me physically, spray me with chemicals instead of secret gamma program. Here's the point. If you're talking a video, if you're talking a video, I recommend to take my advice. I've been telling you to make those vitamin C. Start supping vitamin C. Vitamin C is an antitoxin. And one of the things you get attacked with is toxins. Taking vitamin C will also help with the stress. It's just good for you mentally and physically. So it will help you to be less affected by the toxin generally. And especially if you get attacked with toxins, you're going to be more hurt by toxins if you're vitamin C deficient, as a lot of people are. So now I'm not a doctor. Talk to a doctor before making any changes to diet, lifestyle, supplementation, and or medication. Talk to a doctor before starting to stop taking the supplements medications. Okay. So yeah, if you're taught a video, be aware that the program is known to target. Gang stalking is not just psychological warfare; it's a war. They target you physically and psychologically. They want to do covert entry on you, sneak inside the home in your way, and poison your food or put toxic chemical, dust, powders, heavy metal powders. They want to be able to poison your home or your food in your home in your way. So you have to make it hard for a opponent to be able to get inside the home in your way. And there's so many ways they can do that. They can have perhaps have a powder. They get told to spread it in there. They can have people have a spray. So you had to take my advice and learn from me what I've been teaching. First of all, what about covert entry? The program wants to get inside the home to post your food. Here's how to stop them. Have a live stream and a video recording. That's how I do it. That's the way to do it. If I would leave right now, I have this live stream going, filming inside of my home. I start a video recorder on the phone. Timestamp camera. So work to make it hard for people to get inside their home in a way. Be unpredictable with your purchases when you go shopping. Don't make it easy for them to what you're going to buy. Don't make it easy for them to guess what you're going to buy. Take care of your health. Take supplements, as I recommend to. And be aware that the program has a lot of covert weapons they can use to target you with. And ignorance is none of these. So.
Societal norms. So at the end of the day, it's just all about what you believe you can do, no matter what the majority of society is thinking, because quite frankly, that just does not matter overall. And that's the advice that I have to give to you guys.
Okay, now
we've been on. This program has got a purpose to have covert devices spray chemicals on before one out of public. Some of these perps have been sent to spray perfume like in the supermarket. I mean, because I'm allergic, like in the store, because I'm allergic. Sometimes these perps have been like clearly, just think about what they've been doing secret, but sometimes I go to the corner store, supermarket, and the perps are doing something that they're supposed to hurt me physically, covertly. I had it happen once in this corner store. Back when I used to be super sensitive, a lot more alert than I was, and I would have like a crisis. I would have like where I barely could breathe. I used to be more alert to perfume than I am now. And I had like really hard time breathing. Okay, back then, if I smell perfume, and they have one of these perp gang stalkers. I knew it was a gang stalker. All these people that sold the cigarettes sending to the store, and I'm in the corner, so the guy in the corner, so they're drinking coffee. Guy comes in. They used to have a perfume aisle, like a perfume stand next to the checkout counter. And this gang stalking perp that I recognized from before, it's like one of these CD, like a regular, like one of these people that sometimes get sent to go where I am. And he goes in there, it's like a fat, ugly piece of shit. And he goes in there, gets some perfume off the shelf and start acting like he's threatening to spray it in there. And I go, hey, sorry, I'm allergic to perfume. Don't spray that, please, okay? I can have a really strong reaction. And he goes, acts like he can't hear me. And it goes, and that sprays it in the air, okay? And I didn't have a knife covered carry or anything, but I went outside and was waiting for that fat fucking coward, okay? And that little pussy coward wasn't that tough when I got him alone and confronted him. You fat fuck, okay? I'm not saying I had a knife on me at the time or anything, because that would be illegal. But anyway, here's the point. I went outside to get some fresh air because I was having a hard time breathing. And I was out there long enough for him to leave, okay? And I go, hey, why did you spray that perfume? I asked you not to. I'm super allergic. I could have a serious health problem. Okay, he goes, oh, I'm sorry. Screws away like a skeleton pussy rat, understand? Okay. Now, anyway, that's the point. It's like the Mike Tyson quote. I love tough guys. They're real tough until I get them alone and confront them. I love tough guys. They're real tough until I confront them, until I get them alone and confront them. So he was real tough, acting real unaffected. But anyway, has a point. So it's like I didn't have a knife on me. Okay, I'm kind of being a little bit dramatic from the table person. But here's the point. He might have felt like I did. But it's like, so that is one way I've been taught physically. After this program has been poisoning me for many years, to a point where I become allergic to perfume because the chemical poison spray me with fucking chemicals on my outside and poison me. I get a health problem being allergic to perfume. Now the point starts using perfume to target me physically, like selective toxin, like sending somebody in the elevator, spray perfume in the elevator right before I'm leaving or something. They send. Do you understand? It's like my old apartment complex where I used to live. It's like there's people in the neighborhood that are gang stalkers in the same apartment complex, and I'm super sensitive to perfume. And they know it's like I'm getting ready, they're spying all the time. So they hear like Mike zipping up his stuff, getting his keys, tying up trash bags. They can just, if all they have, they can tap into it once they can hear that. Okay. Well, I'm tying up trash bags and stuff. And then they know, oh, he's about to leave. Okay. Because we can hear the sounds calmly associated with him about to leave, like getting his keychain, ding, 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 and putting it in his pocket, okay, sipping out a cold or something like this, or tying up trash bags, opening, they spy on it. Even if they wouldn't have like visual, just being able to tap into electronic microphones, they can hear that you're about to leave, okay? And they send somebody, a gang stalker, and told them to like drop some cologne at the bottom of the elevator right before they expected me to leave. So when I entered the elevator, it'd be like a perfume shop in there, and I started having a problem. This type of stuff I've been told about. Okay. So that is an event that actually happened where I used to be super sensitive to perfume. I've improved a lot now. But so I cure myself for asthma attacks what what's going on. But I used to have a lot more sensitive to perfume, and they would use perfume to attack me physically. They still do. I mean, they have purpose release perfume around me. Okay. Sprayed in the stairwell before I'm about to leave. Have purpose spray perfume on myself, get close to me. Or this. They told me, you see the guy red, okay, stand next and look at the cheese or this. So I will smell the perfume of them I'm allergic to. These are some of the covert ways I've been taught physically. On top of food poisoning and stuff. I've been sprayed with chemicals too. Ted Gunderson, the former head of Los Angeles FBI, confirmed in his own affidavit the gang stalk is real. Okay, those who don't deny is naysayers. A government whistleblower, the ex-chief of police, Ted Gunderson, confirmed in his own affidavit the gang stalk is real. He was on himself and said that one of the ways you can get told is perps have cars that can drive past and spray chemicals on it. Okay. So one of these government agents was sent into the corner store when I was in there. And he was told by his handler to take perfume because I was super allergic to it. I'm not joking, this is a real event. I go to the corner, they started, I already knew this is the thing that they do. They use perfume to fuck with me since I became allergic to it because I've been poisoned for many years and stressed, immune system compromisation. I got allergies because of the program, understand? And now they use perfume that I'm allergic to fuck with me, okay? And I used to be a lot more sensitive, where I would have like borderline anaphylactic shock, anaphylaxis, where I was so sensitive that you're risking your airways closing up completely. And if you don't hit it with an EpiPen within 3 minutes, you're fucking dead, understand? So I used to be super sensitive before. That I smell perfume or something, I'd be like, not like now, it's like itching, red watery eyes, and kind of irritating. Maybe some windows that's a little bit short of some breath, but it'd be like incrementally harder and harder to breathe, like a severe asthma attack. I would feel like my airways closing up, okay? When I used to be that sensitive, knowing full well I was that sensitive, they would expose to perfume on purpose. Like I'm about to leave, send a perp to spray perfume in the elevator right before I enter it. Okay. Send a person to the corner store, the gambling corner where the gospel track. So I'm sitting there drinking coffee. One of these perps, I know he's a perp. One of these people gets sent to harass me for the gang stalking from the city. Gets sent in there. And there's a perfume stand next to the counter. And he goes in there and takes off the shelf and acts like he's ready to smell it and spray it in the ear. And I go, hey, don't spray that, please. I'm allergic. Super allergic. Could you wait? Okay, don't spray that, please. I'm allergic. I'm super sensitive to that. He goes, act like you can't hear me, and he sprays it in the ear, okay? And I go outside, sucking in fresh air, and eventually he comes outside alone, and it's not with his per bodies in there. And I confront him, and I go, why did you do that, okay? I walk up, I go, well, why did you do that? I told you, please don't spread it. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. He scurries off, okay? See? So here's the point. That's not very sweet, that program saying. Do you know? This is why I talked about the program is illegal. Harassment is illegal in Sweden. Big part of target is covert threats against me and my family, since it is. Part of psychological warfare. Physical assault type of crimes. Poisoning you. It's all fucking illegal, honestly. And then the government said, we're the good guys, honestly. So, yeah, the gangs have been targeted physically. And they have done so to me several times. Several times. Different ways. So what I've been doing to heal myself physically, I'm not that sensitive anymore. Not as sensitive. Cure myself with asthma attacks when I started to well. Panic attacks, you suffer from that for many years. Cure myself with that too, not panic attacks anymore. Supplements have been a crucial part of my healing, of improving and dealing with stuff. I hope that these Heinz beans and tomato sauce can wasn't poison. A little bit of red flag, because I was opening, the ring broke off. It could be a sign that they like open it, re-glued it, and because of them opening, resealing, they can't put poison in there. That's why it broke off. When I was gonna, you know that Heinz beans tomato sauce is like a ring, you pull on to open the lid. And as I pull on, it broke off, snapped off. So I do feel a little bit different. Now I also been drinking whiskey today, which kind of murks the waters in terms of feeling different. Anyway, here's the point. Yeah, this program works to target you, and they will work to poison your food. So I might need to make more videos on Rumble about this ITS survival culture. But here are some of the things. Get on my supplement protocol. Okay, you need to take the supplements I recommend. They'll help you mentally and physically, and make less vulnerable to toxins. You need to make sure that the program can't easily go in and out of your home right away. Okay, which means you have to. You can take my advice, follow my system. I have a laptop live stream inside my home when I leave, and a video recorded inside my front door. And that's make it a lot harder for them to take inside my home. It's a redundant system. It's not just a live stream, because what if there's a power outage, they turn off your router or something like this? Now it's off. So a video camera that I have, a phone dedicated documentation for a timestamp camera app plugged into the raw outlet. So basically, I got a phone with a timestamp camera app, start a video recording, film the inside the front door, it's plugged into the raw outlet, and then I have a live stream here. So in case my internet goes down, there's a backup system, a video recording. And if the power goes down, there's still a video recording. It has enough battery to keep recording for hours. Okay. And things like this. So, yeah, you need to be aware that Paul wants to get inside the home and do bad things in there. And be aware that they can spray poisons on you outside. There's many ways they can attack you physically. They have cars that can spray chemicals on you. If you're in a car on foot, they have cars that devices that can spray a chemical on, like a gas cloud. And they might already have hit you like this, you didn't notice. When I come home and you're itching and have red blood eyes, I either sprayed it with something outside or they've been inside the home the way. I don't want to think it's the fucking directed energy weapon. Okay. In reality, it's chemical toxins and stuff they're attacking with. So, yeah, my advice is you get a security system, make it as hard as possible, go inside the home money away. Take your supplements as a key part of my survival culture. Okay. Make it less vulnerable to poisons, help you to deal with the stress, everything. Proper supplementation can help you mentally and physically to be less hurt by the toilet. And yeah, it can really help. If you got into a point where you're concerned it might hit you with a dart gun like it did me, I got hit with a CIA heart. They had a dart gun called the CIA heart attack gun, or in the 70s and 80s. I believe I was hit with something, either that or something similar, in a corner store. Same corner store with attack with chemicals. A perp box passed my face off with my right calf, and a strange feeling spreading from the place where it hit me. And I survived it. But I still have a numb spot, like a bad feeling on my right calf. So that could have been a serious dart gun attack. So if you got it to a point where they tried that and you were lucky enough to survive it, and I believe the reason I survived it, if it was the LD50, like an assassination attempt, I had so much of an antidote, antitoxin circulation when I hit the water. Okay. I can get into specifics. But that's the point. Um, if we got to that point, basically protection from toxins, supplementation can help. Vitamin C and other supplements. And I wear protective clothing go outside. Okay. You can get Kevlar lined clothes on Amazon. Bike Ski Australia. After I got hit with a dart gun, I bought a pair of Bike Ski Australia Kevlar lined hoodie and pants, denim pants, to make it hard for a point to get a dart gun dog through my clothes into my body. And I wear multiple layers. I like to overdress no matter what. I like to be warm, but since I got hit with that thing, I'm doubling down on it. So, yeah, so something supplementation. And you need to watch my videos. Maybe I should make another like Rumble video, TI survival coaching on one of these videos. But some bullet point fact, you need to supplement. Okay, supplementation is key for total video. Stop the prompt doing covert entry on it. All these things I can teach on, like categories, supplementation, and I can teach what supplements, how much, yada yada, and have in other videos. Stop from going inside your home, and I have videos teaching how you can do that. And other kind of things. You don't want to go eat at restaurants, makes it easier to poison you. You want to be where they have cars, so you can drive past and spray with stuff. Perhaps can have handheld covert devices that they shoot you with a dart or spray chemical on it. Don't eat at restaurants generally, because that will incentivize the program to recruit people in the restaurant to poison you if you go there eating. Okay. Certainly don't order home delivery like pizza or kebab or direct home. It's too easy for them to get somebody to poison you. Okay. But even if they don't get the delivery driver, the pizza baker, you can have like the cops pull them over some undercovers and be like, hey, the reason natural security, we had to inspect your cargo and have you sign an NDA or something like this. And you go and open the pizza and put something there. Do you understand? So I don't have to get into all that, how they can do that, but it's like, don't want to order home delivery food or eat at restaurants, okay? And yeah, so stop covert entry, supplement, make it hard for a point to poison you. And you can hear a lot more about this. Watch my videos. Yeah, so it's happened before that I've been attacked physically by the point. I've been taught hard on the years. And I'm still ripped with a six-pack better shape than the average person. Okay? Despite having taught hard than average TI. And poison and taught it for harder and longer. So maybe I know a thing or two about how to deal with this. Okay?
20 minutes. You know that this show is primarily about targeting and targeted individuals, TIs. Mm-hmm. And do you have anything else that you want to say to that audience, because they're going to be listening?
These perks. Do you understand? Do you understand? I have every right to not like these people, because if I can tell that you've been put up to talk to me for the program to covert narcissistic abuse, directed calling things like this, like Sandra told them around me. One of these people gets sent to shop in the supermarket when they're shopping. Like, one of these people are gangster. And no, I'm not paranoid, okay? I know when somebody's told me. So, if you want these people that show up, get sent to stalk, harass me, show up in the supermarket, you get told to say certain things to me, ask me certain things, put on certain clothes. It's like that. You're a gang stalker. Be recruited to work for the program. Now and then, people that I've seen have started taking orders from the program have been put up to spray a chemical on me or shoot me leg with a dart gun, attack with a weapon covertly. Okay? Which means if you start taking orders just to talk to me, you're still somebody that might get told next time to shoot with a dart gun or something like this, or spray a chemical on me. So you need to be aware what you're part of, and the program might not give you informed consent. But you're a fucking murderer if you still work for this program. Because you're a part of this program. These gang stalker boys work to slowly murder a person. A target individual is being slowly murdered. Gang stalker is slow murder. They start targeting, keep targeting you until you die from the targeting. And many targets have been murdered by the program. Like fast, okay? Car accidents, food poisoning, things like this. Some targets have been unalived them and it looked like they did it to themselves.
To this recording.
Worry
Anything
a
else that-
reasonable amount, but don't over worry. The moment that you start
Here's
going
another
like,
thing. Here's another thing. After they hit me with that dart gun, I swear the murder attempt by the boy shot with a CA dart gun in the leg. And I survived that. I've been talking about it. Yeah, they also have dart guns they can shoot with umbrellas. So they understand that PTSD, CPTSD, like the terror. These people are fucking terrorists. After this program shot with a dart gun, and I start warning other targets more about this, and being aware and working to protect and be more like they could hit me with a dart gun around in public, okay? So I'm more aware and protecting myself more. And I've been talking about how they even have dart guns that come in an umbrella where they can have a guy, and I referenced Alan Watt, talked about it on his Cutting Through the Matrix. Where it's like there was a guy got hit, they had like a spy with an umbrella, and the guy was behind him in an elevator, pushed the button and hit him in the leg or something, and he died, he collapsed right outside the elevator. After that, and the program has hit with a dart gun. Okay. I was in the ICA supermarket, ICA Quantum, and people can go watch my IRL streams. I go there sometimes. At the entrance, like a bench inside of the entrance, they have like a revolving door. Okay. I sit down there. They have a group of perps when I arrive, and one of them have an umbrella. And it's the other thing, like the clothing behavior shows that they're perps. It's like a skit. They were put there, okay, and they start acting like they're aiming the umbrella at me. What's that? To give you a mock execution type psychological effect, best case scenario, to make me feel as if I'm about to get murdered right now. See, do you understand? You're fucking terrorist if you work for this program. It was like after being hit with a dart gun, even if it wasn't real. I mean, if I was wrong, oh, it wasn't a poison. It's just something that hurt him permanently anyway. Still, they try to make me think they're about to murder me right now. Okay? But do you understand? So after I got hit with that dart gun in the store, and I talk about dart guns being used by the program, and they have some that look like umbrellas and stuff like this. That is like darts. That payload can be launched by something that looks like an umbrella or this or that. They actually have a group of persons who go to supermarkets, sit down on a bench, where it's like they act like they have an umbrella and like looking as if they're aiming it at me. Okay, what is that supposed to do? It's supposed to make me fear for my life and think that I'm about to die right now and be hit with a dart gun again. See? That's terrorism. That's terrorism. Okay? That's fucking terrorism. And worst case scenario, it could be like, well, we're testing how we'll react. See if we can go, oh, they're just pretending. And like, oh, now we know that he won't react to the dart gun. We can even have a guy act like they aim at him and hope that, yeah, they just buffers or stuff. See? So, yeah. This type of shit I had to deal with, understand? This type of shit I had to deal with. I hope I wasn't poisoned today. There was a can of Heinz beans in tomato sauce that, as I was opening it, the ring broke off, and I opened it with a can opener. And I do feel a little bit different. Now, the issue is I've been drinking a bit of whiskey today too, but I do feel a little bit different. Okay? The question is it like stress and dealing with a lot and have drink a little bit, or is it okay? I won't say for certain. You want to be careful with being too quick to jump to conclusions. And one reason that's good is to protect credibility. It's better to be like maybe to a point where you're like the maybe guy, where it's like possibly, maybe not. It's better to be kind of overly cautious on cases than to be a guy who just jumps the gun every time and go, they did this 100%. Because now then you'd be wrong. So now you establish a pattern where sometimes you're a guy who's like speak as if you're certain, but you're wrong a lot of times when you do. Okay. So it can be better for you, your mind, and your credibility that to be like, I would not be surprised than to go, they did this and that. Even if you might feel like you're pretty certain that they did. It can be good to be overcautious in some ways and go, I wouldn't be surprised if they posted that thing. I would not be surprised if the reason I had 6 wrong number calls tonight was the program put people up to harass me and spam call me or something like this. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the program. The other side can be better to be like that, and every time kind of intuitively something happens, you go like they did, understand? So don't be too quick to jump to conclusions, okay? And I had to live by that advice myself, honestly. I still make mistakes sometimes. Now, the number of false positives has gone down dramatically, meaning how often it happens that it looks to me like somebody's fuck with me for the program and I'm wrong, okay? Do you understand? It's very, very rare that it happens. It's like somebody comes into the chat, act like a gang stalking perp, and after I go, no, you know what, I was just in a sensitive mood, and it just happened by chance that they would act in a way that perps do a lot of times or something like this. So anyways, the point. This shit has cost me a lot, I understand. So I don't know how long I got left until I die from retardant, get institutionalized and they take me out of there, or whatever. So yeah, might be good. I make a few more videos about this and gang stalking, and more like coaching. I've been focusing a lot like for the public talk about this program, work to create exposure. But it might be good if I make some more Rumble streams like coaching. Here's what a gang stalking is and what you can do about it. Okay. So yeah, they've also tried to make me have accidents before. Like car accidents. I've been sprayed with chemicals, shot with a dog gun, food poisoned several times. Not maybe, certainly. Yeah, there's a lot of ways I've been tortured physically. But you see, I'm the bad guy because I used to have a knife on me in public against Swedish law. And a few times. And the only times I did were the times that the cops were lucky enough to stop and check my pockets at that time. So the 6 times or so I got caught with a knife on me in public, which is illegal in Sweden. Those were the only 6 times that I had one on me, so the cops were lucky. Okay. Okay. So it's like, here's the point. I'm the bad guy, huh? Because I'm a target of groups of people that have threatened me, they're gonna take me out. And sometimes have attacked me with weapons out in public. Okay. And the cops don't do the job to stop these crimes from happening. As a matter of fact, they're part of it. So, but I'm the bad guy for kind of taking matters in my own safety in my own hands. Those times that I had a knife on when I go outside. I'm the bad guy, huh? But I'm supposed to do what? Hey, cops, there's people stalking, harassing me. So you can take to the fucking psych ward again, huh? See? But what am I supposed to do? So the cops can take to the psych ward? Yeah, I'm outside one time jogging and the program is harassing me. And the cops show up. We think you're crazy. You got delusions of persecution. We take you to the psych ward, okay? So why would I, if I'm being harassed and starved, I'm supposed to do what? I'm a bad guy for those times I broke the law, took a knife with me out in public. I'm supposed to go, just call the cops, okay? Hey, cops, there's people stalking me every time I go outside. They're trying to murder me, someone's attack me physically. And they're just going to take me to the psych ward and say I'm crazy. Okay? See? But I'm the bad guy, okay? See? So that's pretty fucked up, okay? We wonderful. Oh, that's how the light can't go up if you show up. See, we doesn't have to be reminded. Notice how a person that has like, she supports me, she wants my good, she likes me for real. I don't have to remind her to hit the like button on my streams. Okay. Sometimes her presence is known by a like can go up. It's also like a sign that maybe that's we just started watching. I see the like can go up, and you there go. There could be we. It depends. Hello, babe. Hello, honey. I'm just talking about government bullying me. It is kind of like inside baseball. It's like we. It's like a foreign girl. So it's like I kind of speak me towards Eugene English, bro. And a lot of them go, I talk about government bullying me, and that's kind of like what stuck. I explained to her. It's like at a certain point, I explain what's happened to me. It's like it's a program put people up to do things to mess with me or something. It is, and it is basically bullying, and it's secret bullying and stuff. So it's like basically, I've been talking about the gang stalking, and people talk to me, and I talk about how before I have knife when I go outside, and maybe someone say, "Oh, Mike, you bad guy." Okay, but cop not protect myself. The cops don't protect me. The cops don't protect me from being attacked with weapons and stalked and harassed and threatened and stuff. So can I really be blamed for having taken matters into my own hands and being a knife when we go outside? Because I've been told that. Do you understand? No, I really can't. And I'm not saying that I was carrying a knife for that purpose. Okay. But I would have a knife as a tool on me, okay? And it could save your life if there's a car accident and somebody's on fire. They need to cut off the seat belt, break the window, pull the grab out of burning car when they're outside, or like cut open clothes, make a tourniquet or something like this. But in case you get attacked by like a pack of wild animals and you happen to have a knife on at the same time and you pull it and use it to defend your life, possibly it would be that big of a deal. But abide by local laws regarding self-defense use weapons all the time. Yeah, I've been convicted of carrying a knife from in public before. So I kind of earned the right to talk about it because I paid the price for that. I've been convicted of having a knife in public, so now I can at least talk about that. Okay. So I don't do that anymore. I'm gonna sleep now. Okay, babe. Well, yeah. So that's the meal. I'm gonna end this stream and call my wife. Say goodnight to her. I like to call her every day and say goodnight to her. So, nothing I said this video is it's meant by to make sense to friends. So, I'm a little bit worked up. So, here is the point. I find a local water to accept that is what I call. And but you take my wife. You can't afford to be lazy. You can't afford to be lazy and be like that. That's the recipe for disaster. And don't listen to people how this want. That's also a recipe. I'm not saying you should be much terrible and I'm overdo it, but it's like you should be vigilant and aware and you should be well served for everybody's touch of the Lord or work. And some other communities. So I'm gonna finish up and let's go to the video. I'm gonna call my wife to the night group. Yeah. Hopefully they can like one. If you want. stream because I still have live streaming video now, so maybe the computers not say something. Yeah. I'm talking about maybe speaking English, but I'm talking about things coming down and calling me and how they attack my voice and they force me to talk to make that thing, and I talk about one time they sent some guy to school just to say the few stories. Yeah. Okay. And when they take medicine, it's good to take vitamin C same time. Remember, I told that. And at least they do that now. Yeah. Okay. Enjoy that. I will reach. I will research. Okay. They will export it. Hope that I'm posting. I have some plans. They look at it. I'll go back to my live stream. Today you can say hello now. You can wave hello to them now. This is we, my wife. We have a long distance relationship. She lives in Thailand. That's her cat. We talk every day on video calls. We have a long distance relationship. And some people will try to devalue it and say it's not real because we were not meeting in real life yet. Let's see, like, okay. I had a friend, Poon, and he died, and some people go, well, you never met in real life, so he's not a friend. No, you can have online friendships. You can have online relationships. You can say hello to them, huh?
Hello.
That's we, my wife. Yeah. I'm showing your I drop you a donation link sometimes. So the link to my live stream, it's to we. She's a little bit shy, which I find charming. The link to my donation link, that's we's PayPal link. So if people donate, it goes to we, okay? So that's an indirect way to support me because it happens a few times. I save up a little bit and I send her a donation for her to buy some vitamin C and something like this. So basically, I don't have to over-explain it. An indirect way to support me is to send donation to we, okay? And I mean, if I have more money, I'll be sending her donations. I'll be sending her more money. Another common racist stereotype is we's only with me for the money. About money, okay? If she was looking for a sugar daddy, she'd pick a middle-aged fat American on a dating site. They could send her money all the time. Not an autistic guy on disability who never sends her money. The only time I send we what money is if I tell her it's like you need to take more vitamin C. And she goes, yeah, I'll start saving up for maybe next month. I go, you know what, I'll send you $5 and pay for half the bottle so you can buy it tomorrow. And she goes, you don't have to do that. And I go, no, I'm going to do it. So, what do you think about people say we're not real relationship because we're not meet in real life?
I don't comment. I think we are real now.
Yeah, see? She thinks we're real. Yeah, we're real.
And can meet in real life.
And we can meet in real life, God willing. God willing, we can. And we is the same woman. After we met, started talking on a dating website, talking as friends, I started preaching Christ and Him crucified unto her. And eventually she believed the gospel, got saved. And where you go when you're dying now? Where you going now? If you're dying tonight when you sleep, what happened to you?
Go to the heaven.
Should go to the heaven. Why you go to the heaven?
I need to see a bit of that.
Okay. Okay, babe. But before, why you go to the heaven? Oh, will be a cliffhanger. Okay, so it'll be a cliffhanger. Yeah, so I don't encourage breaking the law, but I do tell you the truth that I have been caught with a knife in my throat before, and I don't think that that makes me a horrible person. Now I stopped doing that. It's been several years since I was caught with a knife on me in public, and that's not the biggest thing. Okay, now unfortunately we live in a world where there's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of tyranny, and I do believe that part of what makes it so dangerous to the deep state is what I know, who I am and what I know. We got what I can see. I know the truth about reality. I had the ability to pick up on deception and see the truth hidden in plain view in society, and they don't like that. The deep state are about control. They want to control people. They're control freaks. They want to control people. And one of the ways to control people is to have them eating a high sugar diet. This world talks about design, not by incompetence, not by chance. So I'm a total widow, like Chuck Langberg was a total widow. And we've been listening to Chuck Langberg's radio show here. He was a real TI. And I believe that he was murdered by the program. And I do believe I'm more valuable today than Chuck Langberg was when he was alive. In terms of what? Teaching the truth on gang stalking, what is what it's not, and how to protect against, how to deal with it. Now that is not a diss to Chuck Langberg. He was a work in progress too. His starting out, he was talking about harassment and stalking, and towards the end of his life, before he died from the tar, he started talking about being attacked physically with food poisoning and They would get chemicals in this apartment, like gassing him and things like this. And things like this. So part of how valuable I am to the TIA community and quite effective in teaching the truth and be able to tell targets how to deal with this, what the target is, what it's not, is due to having found Chuck Langberg. And that was helpful in basically finding Chuck Langberg's information has helped me get better at getting the word out. Seeing how Chuck Langberg's worked to get the word out and what he was talking about has helped me to get better at. So it's a little bit like picking up the torch, okay? He was working to expose gang stalking, and a big part of what he was doing was work to expose how the government covers up gang stalk with fake TIA crazy talkers. And I carried on that work. And fighting is a young man's game, they say. It's not that if you're 40 plus you can't be fighting, but fighting is a young man's game more than it's an old man's game. So it takes a lot of energy to fight. Yeah, if you're tall like I am, your health will suffer. So there's more of a candle to burn on both ends. The younger you are, the longer the candle is to begin with. The more, the more, the more able to. Yeah, so if you're taught a video, you can't be lazy. You can't afford to be lazy. You have to be disciplined. You can't live like the average member of the public. You have to be more like a warrior because you're in a war. See, you're in a war. You have to be more like a soldier, warrior. You have to be disciplined. You have to toughen up. You cannot afford to be lazy, undisciplined, and complacent. You can't afford to live like a general member of the public. You just live for pleasure and avoid doing things that are hard to do and you just live for pleasure. Okay, I recommend you to go on a low sugar diet. Be more disciplined what you eat. A lot of TAs would do well to try omega fasting. And no matter what you do, supplementation is key. Waiting for wheat to get back here. This is welcome. Welcome back, babe. So we left on a cliffhanger there. Left on a cliffhanger. I can save us like Atlantis before. Oh. Okay, now you can say hello to them and we finish. Oh. Yeah. Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she precious? Only 1 minute old. Yeah, babe. So, before you left, previously on Lost, before you left, I asked, I'm a little bit troublesome here, I know, but this is good now. We talk like this. So, if you die tonight when you're sleeping, what happened to you? If you die tonight when you're sleeping, what happened to you?
Now, go to the heaven.
You go to the heaven. And why you go to the heaven?
I believe in God,
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. And what do you believe about Jesus?
He died for me
Mm-hmm. And why he died for you?
because he died for my sin.
He died for your sin. And what happened after he died for your sin now?
He come back.
He come back. He come back from the dead. He will rise again. See, so it's so simple. Child can understand it. So it's not as fluent in American English as I am, but she was able to understand the gospel and believe in it and get saved. It's not rocket science. But the main issue is not that most people that don't get saved is because they have too low an IQ or they don't know language or enough. It's that they don't want to get saved. So people that want to get saved, there's nobody that goes to hell that didn't have a chance not to go there and they didn't choose to go there. So people that care about going to heaven don't want to go to hell. They want to get to know God and make sure to ride with Him. God will make sure that they figure out how to do that. Okay. So if somebody is like they're a seeker that want to know how to go to heaven with that, God will make sure that somebody did come across a video like one of mine teaching how to go to heaven, or they find a gospel tract or something. Now you don't want to be complacent, because I say that if you need to balance that statement, counterbalance it. You don't go like, I'm just waiting for God to send somebody to tell me the gospel or something like this. It's like if you listen to this video, you already found a channel that has a gospel on it, and it's on you to act on it. And there's nobody that can say, well, I never heard the gospel, so I'm not going to hell. People have to make sure that they go to heaven. And God has made sure that people who want to spend eternity in heaven have a chance to, have the ability to. So anyway, thank you, babe. I know that sometimes it's a little bit, you feel a little bit uncomfortable when I ask you things or something like this, but I think it's good to practice when I ask you about the gospel. It can help you get better to talk about Jesus to someone. Maybe sometime you have some friend or family, they ask you about Jesus and you want to talk to them. You look tired, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now. I love you, honey. Do you want to say goodnight?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Love
now.
you too.
I'm not showing you now. I'm looking. I'm not showing you now. Okay. I love you, honey.
Love you too.
Sweet dreams, babe.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
super X to the 10th exponential power paranoid, you're just letting yourself fail, quite frankly. So I believe that you can have a healthy bit of anxiety, but don't let that supersede your own health benefits. Otherwise, you're just going to be drowning. So,
and you need to take measures, which you can learn from me, about how to mitigate anxiety with safe and effective supplementation. Ashwagandha is an adaptogen that lowers cortisol, the stress hormone. So that's a supplement. One of many that you can take to help yourself with the stress that probably inflict upon you, both mental, so-called, and physical. Vitamin C is another supplement that can help with stress. It make you less negatively affected by stress, and it will help you to feel less stress. So vitamin C, uh, magnesium, D3, those are the top three. So those are the top three supplements: vitamin C, magnesium, D3, K2, and not petty, pathetic, puny amounts. You need to take enough to a good effect. And for vitamin C, to the baseline public, when I teach health fitness truths, I tell people my recommendation is to take 2 grams of vitamin C 3 times per day. 2 grams in the morning, 2 grams in the middle of the day, 2 grams at the end of the day. What type of vitamin C? Pure ascorbic acid, add in capsules, or mix into water. For the total individual, if you're watching this, the baseline amount of vitamin C, I would say bare minimum 12 grams, okay? 12 grams per day. And that would be 2 grams 6 times per day, with a few hours in between. Okay, so if you want like a protocol, simple, 2 grams of vitamin C 6 times per day if you're totally low. So 2 grams every 3 hours, for example. You're gonna have a higher need than the average person. Other supplements you can take to help with stress: ashwagandha, magnesium, which was on the top 3 list. Remember, top 3 supplements. Start with those. And if you don't take anything else, take those. Vitamin C, magnesium, D3, K2. How much magnesium? Around a gram per day. Okay, the bare minimum would be a gram. Now remember, for YouTube, on Rumba, I don't need to do this. One of the things I like about Rumba, I can speak freely my thoughts on health, fitness, and be more assertive in my communication style. But on YouTube, it's like I need to make sure to remind people I'm not a doctor, a licensed physician, okay? Look at the disclaimer on screen right now. This content for education purposes allows other players to push medical advice, also called professional. Okay, so if you're taught a video, bare minimum a gram of magnesium per day, 1,000 milligrams. You can take half a gram in the morning, half a gram in the evening. For example, vitamin C, bare minimum amount for TI, I would say baseline, 12 grams per day. 2 grams vitamin C 6 times per day. Total 12 grams per day. What type of vitamin C? Pure ascorbic acid. Add in capsules, or you do what I do, buy the powder in bulk, vitamin C powder, ascorbic acid, mix it into water. And so how to make a liter of water with 12 grams vitamin C in it? You get a glass bottle, liter bottle. You fill it just a little bit of cold water, or lukewarm at worst. I don't want it like hot, and not make instant coffee. Okay. So get a liter glass bottle, pour a little bit of water there. You get your vitamin C powder, ascorbic acid. You get 2 heaping teaspoons of ascorbic acid. As much as you can scoop up with a teaspoon and dump it in there. Now you have a glass bottle, you can stir it a little bit, but circle it like this. Pour a little bit more water, circle a little bit more water, until you have a liter that is full and there's not a lot of powder in the bottom, okay? And to get 6 grams of vitamin C, no, 12 grams, 6 times per day, you simply drink a sixth. You drink a sixth of that 6 times per day. Okay. And magnesium around a gram per day. Bare minimum gram for total withdrawal, help with the stress too. D3K2, 6,000 IUs per day. So vitamin C, D3K2, magnesium. And for a TI, the daily need is going to be quite a bit higher than for the average person. That's not a total withdrawal, due to the stress and everything else they probably will inflict on it. Other supplements ultimately also add. Now remember, don't get overloaded. Be like he's giving me a lot of. I'm not gonna take everything. Start with vitamin C, D3, K2, and magnesium. And on top of that, additionally, it'd be good if you take ashwagandha, niacinamide, vitamin B3. Me, I take around 3 grams of niacin per day, niacinamide. Morning dose around 1500 milligrams, and another 1500 milligrams or 2 grams after I finish eating. Speaking of which, just remember I didn't take my post-dose supplements yet. So yeah, now when I tell what I take, that's not exactly what you need, but if you want to start taking niacinamide, get bare minimum 500 milligrams of niacinamide per day if you tolerate it. And that's a common concentration, meaning strength that niacinamide, vitamin B3 comes in 500 milligrams. Nicotinic acid, flush type niacin, is a different type of niacin. It's called flush niacin. You get the niacinamide, the flush free, and take 500 milligrams of that per day. L-theanine is another good supplement. Has a calming effect. So a lot of the issues that you have is stress, if you talk about it. And the supplements you can take to help with that. A good B complex. Stress depletes the body of not only vitamin C, but B complex vitamins. So I recommend you get a good B complex supplement and take it every day. Me, I take 3 B complex tablets per day. Okay. Now, depending on what you can afford and what type is available to get, okay, bare minimum 1 B complex tablet per day. Go on a low sugar diet yesterday. If you don't have a time machine, get on it today. Start working to consume less sugar. Go on a low sugar diet and allow for you. Sugar sabotages. Sugar competes with ascorbic acid for absorption. So here's the thing. You get more benefit from a given whatever amount of vitamin C you're taking if you're not eating a lot of sugar. Sugar competes with ascorbic acid for absorption, which means if I would have my morning coffee and 5 grams of sugar in it, and then take a gram of vitamin C, I would be absorbing less of that gram of vitamin C. And whatever amount is absorbed despite having worse absorption, a lot of it will be vitamin C will be burnt up to counteract the oxidative stress that the sugar will be causing. So you absorb less vitamin C if you consume a high sugar diet. And whatever amount of vitamin C you do absorb, a lot of that will be burnt up to deal with the oxidative stress inflammation that the sugar is causing you. Do you understand? So supplement vitamin C, especially if combined with a low sugar diet, is very powerful. Very powerful. Now, if you're going to keep eating a high sugar diet, you're still better off getting a few grams of vitamin C per day than if you don't. But if you want to have the most effect of vitamin C megadosing, you do good no matter what else you do, supplementation or not, that you cut down on the sugar intake. Sugar is a drug, it's a poison for us, I'm concerned. So.
Remain calm, unless you think someone's gonna kill you, then if you think someone's gonna kill you every day, what's the point of living, quite frankly? Because then it's what is the point? I ask you. So
okay. Once again, anybody who's listening in, I encourage you to go to talkshoe.com, show number 87161, and find recording number 1067. It was a recording with here with Pure Delana. Is her.
I'm going to the kitchen, and I'll be back pretty soon. I'm going to take my post-menopausal supplements pretty soon. Take it away, Chuck.
Pseudonym, and it was very interesting. It talks about weird UFOs. And you know what was interesting, by the way, is at the end, that was my last interview for about a month and a half. That TalkShoe shut down shows. I don't know if it's related. God knows why it happened. Anything last that you want to say Fury, I told you I'd keep this interview fairly short, and I thank you for calling in. But anything that you want to say before I push the end button?
That's it.
Okay, Fury, thank you for showing up. Thank you for consenting to an interview. I'm going to go ahead and hit the end key and do that right now.
Talk shoe. Recorded live.
Hello, my name is Chuck, nickname Van of Vancouver, Washington, USA. Welcome to TalkShoe.com, show number 120297. This show is being recorded, and anything said will go into the public domain. Thus, everyone is entitled and encouraged to copy and republish any or all of this MP3 recording file. You do not need permission. No notification or attribution is necessary. To find more of these public domain audios, go to the top right corner of any TalkShoe.com screen and search for Vancouver or show number 120297, or click the top left button to see if it is live now. The time out here on the West Coast is 5:05 p.m. Today is Tuesday, June 19, 2012. I have with me on the phone right now Jeff of Chelsea, Massachusetts, and he is going to interview me, and I'll leave it open the door. How are you, Jeff? And the ball's in your court.
Not a problem. It's the first time I ever interviewed somebody, and though I don't have my own show, this will be like me having my own show, and I'm going to interview Chuck from Vancouver, Washington. Chuck, how are you doing?
I'm hanging in there, and I'm looking forward to this hardball interview. I've interviewed you a couple of times on my old show, number 87161 at TalkShoe.com, but this is the first time on this show that I've been interviewed.
Okay. Now,
sorry for the long answer.
No, that's fine. Let me start off with the basics. And another inspiration I have is I might reread some or all of the questions I talked about in the chat room to get it on recording, so people can think about it. But first, we're going to start off with the basics, the roots. Everything in life has roots. Trees have roots. And when you're looking at a problem, you always have to get to the root of the problem. So, Van, do you think your gang stalking was a result of the workplace, and what kind of work do you do or used to do?
I used to do computer type stuff. I was workplace mobbed. I do believe that my mobbing or harassment precedes that by many, many years. I do believe it runs in the family. I do believe that cousins in other words, I believe it goes potentially, in my case, my gang stalking and harassment may go up to the grandfather level.
Wow.
I cannot prove that. They don't send you registered letters about that. I'm just guessing. I've seen certain incidences in the family that I believe that's the case.
Wow, I figure we at least established the foundation and the workplace mobbing, and so forth, because once people know the testimony, because there is always a common thread among people who are gang stalked, and I'm not going to ask you for dates and so forth, because that would be irrelevant.
You can ask anything. The worst it's going to have, you can ask me anything, say anything, do anything.
I know.
That you feel like. All I can do is say no, thank you.
No problem. So what kind of things happened to you when you were workplace mobbed?
Happened later on, like within a year before I left. People, I would say 2 or 3 people were always in my area in a harassing, and I didn't put it together. A couple of people that I worked with were involved with it. Once again, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. That's actually the first time I've ever talked about that situation, and they would deny it. I'm just telling you, one thing that you learn when you are harassed is that it went back before you started to think about it, and I didn't really start thinking about the harassment until they went quote unquote overt. In April of 2006, but now I'm talking about 1997 that it may have gone that far back. And also, there was time back there in the 90s where I had a cop living across the hall from me, where I lived. And just recently, a few months ago, I moved from a place that had a cop that lived right next door to me. And the guy before him died in the apartment, believe it or not. You know, so when things like that start to happen, when odd incidences, let that raise the red flag. Maybe you're marked. Maybe something is going to come later. I'm giving you long answers, but please continue, Jeff.
No, I'm listening. But okay, now you say that this goes back to your grandfather. Was your
Possibly. I say possibly. I have no. You're not going to get a registered letter. You're not going to ever know for sure.
I know. I mean, I'm not 100% positive of how it happened to me, but I have ideas, and the video gang stalking on BMO. That guy is right on. But my question is, do you think your dad or your grandfather was part of a politically incorrect group, whistleblowers, angered the wrong person? You know, the usual stuff.
You just don't know. And by the way, I do want to respond to the one that Jeff was referring to as http://vimeo.com/18103-517. That's a 20-minute audio video. I have never talked to the guy, and I just gave that so people can listen to that. Anyway, I don't know why. I just heard so many times in answer to your question. I don't know how it comes about. It just when you become marked, you don't know it right away. You do finally catch on, but if it starts to happen to you earlier in life, things that used to happen, they catch up with you after a while. You know, it's not necessarily anything I did wrong. If it's something that happened a couple of generations ago, I would not know. It's not anything that I did to bring this on. I think that's important for TIs, for targeted individuals, to understand that it's not necessarily because you did something wrong.
Oh, okay. Because I figured they'd be talking the dinner table, stuff like that. But and anyways, let's go forward.
Sure.
When you became overtly stalked, were you able to find a regular job afterwards, or do you work mostly for yourself?
I was already working for myself when I became overtly stalked. That's when they really went overt in April of 2006. But they had actually started like maybe a couple of years earlier than that. Weird things started to happen to the point where even the woman that I was living at just wanted to argue. Well, people argue anyway. You know, it's just a weird thing.
Just when you thought it was safe, I returned once more. Yeah. Ooga booga. Yeah. Okay, back to watching the Jack Lagman video.
Things started happening. Things that happened. I was living in my RV at the time. I had to like move the RV like regularly. When things like that start to happen, that's something to think about. I had that RV parked in like 4 or 5 spots, by the way, and just something to think about. When those types of things start to happen, it might be a clue, and just wake up to the fact that maybe there's more to the story than just bad luck.
Well, the definition of science is that for something to be a science, it has the same procedure has to be repeated, and you have to get the same result using the same technique. That's science. So when a person's being really gang stalked, you know it because there's a whole bunch of people doing the same thing, using the same tactic, getting the same result, which is driving you batty.
So this was originally aired 2012, going by the archive, like the file name. So these are mirrored from when Chuck's talk show call-in radio show was still live. So he had a talk show call. I think he had thousands of calls. And he was similar to me, where he was a daily streamer. I think he was pretty much daily, if not several times a week, hosting a live call-in show, like a radio show, talk show, talk show, recorded live. And they had the call-in show there, and he was doing solo streams, talk about gang stalker, told videos, some of his life experiences. Sometimes he had guests doing him, called in. Okay. And it was like over phone, so it's audio only. And eventually his talk show call got nuked. And some people had downloaded, mirrored his videos, and some of them remain archived on the internet. And Chuck Langenberg died, I think, 2013. I think his obituary was. I'm going to Google it. Chuck Langenberg. Dead. Obituary. Chuck Langenberg. Obit. Chuck Langenberg. Vancouver, VA. Passed away on November 8, 2013 at age 62. Yeah. So this is around a year before Chuck Langenberg passed. And T.I.'s largely believed that he was murdered. So I do believe that he was unalive when the program murdered. But he went on one hell of a run before that. And hopefully he got saved before he died. And I'm out here. And being out here speaking out, there's benefits and pros and cons. I've been taught the hardest and start to speak out in some ways, but it can't be worth it. And it's up to you to decide if you're going to start speaking out or if you're talking video. But I would say it's better that you keep it short. If your TI go public, chances are you've been deceived by the fake TI community. It's a useful idiot to believe untrue things like that the program is reading your mind with satellites, or that they tackle it with ELF weapons, stuff that is. And in that case, if you start speaking out to expose gang stalking, you're helping the program. So if you're going to start speaking out, you're better off keep it short and brief that you are a target of gang stalking, and it's a secret program that recruits people to target you, harass you, stalk you, mess with you, spy on you, and don't help the program by discrediting the topic, by talk about these crazy unearthly satellites and stuff. So unfortunately, there's about one real TI in 1,000 claimed TI. So most people like him between videos, commenting, leaving comments on forums, message boards, making videos, websites. They did misinfo. They loaded with bullshit, okay? And unfortunately, the rare TIs, I'd say maybe 9 or 10 of them believe the myths. They've been brainwashed and deceived by the fake TI community into believing myths, that they talk with direct end weapon satellites out of space, that they read in the mind with satellites, yada yada. And yeah, your ego might not like that, okay? Now here's the point. Maybe it can help you to feel a bit less like an idiot if I tell you this. If you're taught in video, you're with a trauma, okay? So if you're spend a lot of your waking hours in fight mode, you're stressed and you're harassed all the time, you're gonna be dumber than your real self. You're gonna be out of sorts. You're gonna be beside yourself. You're not gonna be operating like firing all cylinders. You're not gonna be your best self necessarily. You're gonna have a lot of stress and confusion, and there's a lot of people are working to present you with misinfo, and get to believe stuff. So if you've been believing the myths that they read your mind with SAHA. Så faktiskt you heard Scott Snitch tell you about it on YouTube. Or Captain Horner's Hyper's direct under weapons, and he would sit around with a tinfoil hat when watching TV or something like this. Okay. Don't be too hard on yourself. Okay. There's a difference between being deceived and believing a lie, and being able to admit that you're deceived and believe a lie, and get right. Okay. So if you get wrong, the bad thing is staying wrong. Okay. If you're wrong and you get right, that's better. So, Chuck Langenberg is taking a word out from beyond the grave, and I'm the one TI doing what I'm doing. There's no other target. It's not a target, so-called target. There's nobody else doing what I'm doing. I'm unique. There's nobody else streaming daily as a public TI, streaming daily, live streaming their life as tornado, and making videos about gang stalking, like what it is, what it's not, and like brings a phone when they go shopping, IRL streaming, and it's like living the life as tornado, kind of almost like a reality TV show. It's like the live streaming a big chunk of the life. Okay, so I'm unique in the TI community. One of the most unique individuals there was. Okay, very significant. So that's the point. Yeah. Yeah, I win again. so, so that's the point. If you're a TI, maybe you can learn a thing or two from a guy looking like this. Mike, they're beaming energy weapons into your body. It doesn't look like it. Understand? If they had the wrong frequency, they must have been beaming voids into my body. Understand? It's like Mike, they're beaming energy weapons into your body. No, they're not. They must have had wrong frequency. The one that makes you be ripped with a six pack and just winning in life. Understand? Okay, they got the victory beam. They must have set the machine to victory mode for a sort of idiot. Understand? So it's like, no, okay. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna fall for it. Okay. I don't want to hear you come talk to me about directed weapons, BLF, microwave radio assaults, and electromagnetic broadcasting frequencies and all this stuff. I'm not into it. Okay. If you want to talk about EMF, I call like the Indian guy at Microsoft tech support nowadays. I forgot to my router, and I think there's something wrong with EMF radiation. Okay, so it's like you're not the guy, I understand. So I don't want to hear about the direct energy weapons. Okay, so let's get back to talking. Let's get back to listen to Chuck Langenberg.
Gang stalking, though, per se, what I would call it, they went great guns back in April of 2006. The dogs came out. I mean, it was happening at the store, like 4 to 5 different times at the store. It was happening when I go to the video store. People, prior to that, people pulling out in front of me all the time. God, it was to the point where they call it sensitization, I think.
Yeah.
Where, honest to God, people who would be.
Yeah, so sensitization means basically, it doesn't mean that you're a pussy, that it's like you're sensitive. Oh, I'm crying. Sensitization means that they're training you to detect the subtle harassment. Do you understand? So if they will, for example, you already know that every time you go shopping, there's perps there, gang stalkers get sent to be in the supermarket or they're shopping, okay? And they're there to make you feel harassed and messed with, okay? So there's going to be gang stalkers. Now, after that, it's like the base and the target knows that it will notice that there's gang stalkers in the store they're shopping. Now, the program will establish patterns, themes in the targeting, where they will have perps start wearing a blue hat, let's say. There's like color themes. So the talk might notice like, oh, recently, like all the perps in the supermarket, I noticed that they're always wearing something blue. If there's like a blue hat, do you understand? It could be like one time I go to the supermarket and it's all these people that is a gang stalker, and they might be, here's how they can sensitize you, sophisticated. In the supermarket, I told you, you can notice there's gang stalkers there. And then they have a pattern where a lot of times the gang stalkers will cough 3 times specifically around you. Okay. And it always happens in the supermarket when they're shopping that there's somebody coughing 3 times around them. It could be like an old lady or a guy. One of the gang stalkers like waiting until you pass them. So this like coughing 3 times specifically. Now it becomes a pattern. They're like, oh, this is a way that I get harassed. That the person make me know that I'm being harassed. They will have them cough 3 times. Okay. Now you will notice that. So next time you go to your back and have a smoke, there's somebody walking the park coughing. And now that's enough to make you feel harassed, understand? You notice it's like the most like there's a gang stalker. So now that's the way they can make you feel that you're being stalked and there's a gang stalker here. And they want you to notice by telling them to cough around you. Okay. Now, if they want to establish another pattern and be more subtle, they can have a perp next time in the supermarket. You already notice, yeah, that's something that they do around, like a subtle harassment tactic. They have the gang stalkers, the stalkers cough around you, okay, specifically 3 times. Next time they can have a person, a gang stalker, wearing a blue hat and cough 3 times. And then maybe adjust the headphone for this. Now you know it's a gang stalker, and wear a blue hat. And then next time you go to the supermarket, there's somebody wearing a blue backpack, cough 3 times. That now they've trained you to notice it's like, oh, they usually call it blue. A lot of times the gangs like wear blue, and now they can have it's like a theme in the harassment. They have perps wearing something blue, and you notice it. And it's supposed to make you sound paranoid if you talk about it. And they want people to think that, like, oh, Mike saw a guy with a blue hat in the supermarket once and thinks they're a government agent, okay? But sensitization is basically taught you in a certain way so you detect the pattern and notice it so that they have a way to subtly harass you. So sensitization deals with kind of training you to detect, not training like a dog, but it's like you will notice a pattern recognition. Where it's like a lot of times the stalkers will be coughing around me. A lot of times the stalkers will be wearing a blue hat. A lot of times the stalkers will be clicking a pen as they walk around in the store or stuff like this. Then there'd be like a pattern, understand? So they can train you and condition you to pick up on a certain subtle harassment tactic like a trigger. And then they can use this trigger suddenly around you and make you look paranoid, understand? So, yeah.
Be riding with me in my vehicle would make the statement, "Man, you are so careful of a driver." Well, the reason I'm careful is because people are pulling out in front of me, and you just think that's the way it is.
Oh yeah, that's just, you were getting the verbal sensitization. I get more of the visual sensitization, but it's still the same thing. It's to sensitize you to a certain stimuli, and then when they do it, it's basically we're keeping an eye on you. So that's.
I wasn't thinking though that people were keeping an eye on me as people were pulling out in front of me. It was a lot of times at one intersection or a couple of intersections, people pulling out in front of me all the friggin' time. You know, I go, wow. It's like every time I come here and you don't get it. Well, just be it known.
So this is a archive of Chuck Langenberg audios, and this other link is a link to a mirror archived website, Chuck Langenberg's website. The site.go is postgangstalking.com. Did I post it or not? Yes, here. Mirror, and the website works. It's slow. It loads slowly. So have some patience.
Let that lodge in your memory if anybody is listening in. That may be a clue of things to come.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Also too, I think it's gonna be more overt. But let's see here. At least you're making money to pay your rent, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, it helps.
You know what else too is the secrecy. Why do you think there's so much secrecy with this? Because you do have Russian defectors, you do have defectors that come from communist and Islamic bloc countries. What makes this so secretive that your average Joe on the street would want to do this?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I've only known. By the way, I started to be overtly stalked. I mean, like I said, the dogs came at me, and I'm getting to your question, but the dogs came at me.
So what I'll be able to piece together is there's a little bit of mystery around Chuck Lambert's demise. So people digging into what happened to Chuck. There's an obit, like he died 2013, which should be around a year from this point when he was still alive making these videos, these audios. And there's nothing about the cause of death. There's somewhere sleuthing and research about this. I think it might be on Alex Jones' forum that somebody said that it's like they heard from a relative of Chuck or something like this that he had become a warden of the. Now that's like a rumor. I've heard it claimed that it's been said that Chuck became a warden of the state or something like this, like I'm saying the care of the state before passing short thereafter. So quite possibly he became institutionalized. And they took him out of the institution. I would not be surprised. And that's one of the risks for Tommy though. If you end up institutionalized, they might take you out of there like they did Epstein, I understand. Without being Epstein. You don't have to run Peter Island for them to do that to you. Because the people that are doing this to you are the Epstein people, okay? Like they really if you trace the chain of command up to the power leads. So I could see how quite possibly Chuck Langberg ended up in a psych ward or in prison and died in there. And I don't care what to tell you. He slipped in the shower or something like this, or he had a heart attack. They could get to inmates. They can get to, if you go to psycho, they can have an inmate plant. They get told to shank you in the neck where you tie your shoes. But they don't have shoestrings in the psycho, okay? But you try to tie your shoes, okay? And that's when they knew you have top on the side. You try to tie, they got you drugged up or something, they basically try to tie your shoes without shoelaces. And they said they got an inmate plan, they just run up and shank in the neck or stuff like this. I'm not trying to scare you, but it's like you don't want to end up in an institution, okay? I'm not saying don't, if you have a mental health problem, don't seek professional help. But I'm saying don't aim to get locked up into psych ward if you told me though. And you have to be aware that if you're institution control, it's easy for them to talk to you. So anything from what I've expected personally, if I go to a psych ward or prison long term, is either they take me out of there, like they might unalive themselves and they had an accident or had a natural health problem, a heart attack or stroke, something like this. They have access to your food. They just have to get a person working in prison or in the psych ward to tell them to poison your food, okay? And they can poison you. There's so many ways they can target you, okay? So I would not be surprised if it happened that Chuck Langenberg being bullied, messed with, targeted physically towards the end of his life. Last article, he talks about being physically targeted, food poison, talked about the program getting chemicals in his home. Sometimes it happened, went live, documentation was like, okay, emergency broadcast. They got some from my apartment, I can smell it, and like I can feel it, and it's hard to breathe, and they got some chemical and stuff like this. So the last part of him being alive, it was more radical, drastic. Where at the first part, some of his website and some of his talk show, it's like from the beginning when he was just noticing the harassment part of targeting. And later on, he starts to talk about physical targeting being used on him. And I could easily see how possibly he's in the supermarket shopping and they have one of these perps bump into on purpose in the car and he pushes them or something like this. And then he goes, "You fucking gang stalks." The cops show up and he gets put in the psych ward and dies in there. Okay, I would not be surprised. Okay, I won't be surprised. So I would recommend that you treat it like I do, kind of like Iron Man more than a video game I play, where it's like you try to just stay free. You understand? Live free, die hard. You try to stay free. Okay. Don't. It's like, I kind of a victory that it took more than 10 years of intense talk until I end up sectioned. Like okay, until I ended up going to psych ward. And that was after a Dover campaign where I was talking about some people in this city were talking for the gang stalking program and like naming names and stuff. And the same people go to Dover campaign and go, oh, this guy Mike's paranoid crazy thing we're messing with him. And I got taken by across the cycle and I had to spend the night there. And this is it. Mike SAHA farewell tour. This is it. I was thinking this might be it. The jig might be up here. Thank to God I made it out. They had like a hoist. They hoisted a basket up to my window, by a wall. And they let me out and I got into the basket. They hoisted me down again. And I believe in Lord ever since. So don't tell the cops that you know where I am. I'm lying around. It's a joke. Okay? Since I didn't escape this, I call okay. But it's like okay. So it's important. Okay. And also, I want you to know I carry a flamethrower. Time about it, probably. So don't try anything, punk. I got like a flamethrower also. At my backpack, I had like tanks in there. I had like a thing that go burn those motherfuckers. Tuck, motherfucker, bang, 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 motherfucker. It's a joke, okay? So it's like, no, it's like, all I have, I've got the right to bear arms and feet and legs, okay? So I have 2 arms, okay? I got 2 strong arms, nights in this gallery, days ahead of me, okay, yeah. So Mike's had a musical. So it's important. All jokes aside, I do believe that Chuck Langenberg, but I'm going to he got unalived. Okay, 90% bet he got taken out by the program, but he went on one hell of a run before that. Okay, and notice how you can't kill the message. You can kill a messenger, but not the message. So they might have thought that we're going to shut this guy Chuck Lambert up. Just take him out and nuke his talk show website and all the work in the world out about GameStop is gone. Look at me now, mom. Look at me now. No hands. So it's like his word, he's still getting word out even from the grave because I'm using his information to get word about gang stalking, and I'm doing it myself too. So you can kill a messenger, but you can't kill a message. And maybe if the program God allows them to take me out, maybe there'll be somebody else that comes up on the scene, finds my Rumble streams, whatever, where I still have videos. There's no guarantees, but it's like they find some account to be, well, this guy Max, he was onto something, okay, and they maybe start playing my videos or sharing them or something like this, or link it to forums. Like, do you see this guy Max or something like this? So, yeah, I would say this: take my advice, okay. Take my advice. If you're talking video, try to keep the law as much as possible, okay. Don't try to get locked up, okay. Try to keep the law as much as possible, and document, okay. And it's good to have a defensive mindset more than offensive one. Meaning, yeah. So my advice is this: try to not get yourself locked up in a psych ward for acting out. Okay. And I made it like 10 years without being put in a psych ward, uh, and I was let out. Okay. And I wasn't diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic. Okay. So now, if I go back to the psych ward, I would not be surprised. I don't put it past that it could have been like talked to, be like, if this guy shows up, your job is to say that he's crazy no matter what and keep him there. And then strap him down in like a straight jacket and pump him full with drugs, stuff like this, and make him have an accident, okay? Oh, Max had an accident in the cycle. Oh, what heaven, okay? Nice to see here, people. So what is the point? Um, I recommend you to take care of yourself. And there's things you can do to have a better life, even though you're totally, the main thing is staying alive. Nobody's gonna live forever. You're gonna spend eternity in 1 or 2 places. Make sure it's heaven. You can learn about that by listening to my videos. In the natural, I'd say no matter what, try to stay alive, fight for your life, and try to keep it together. And proper supplementation can help you to keep it together. Meaning there's things that, and people go, but Mike, I see you ranting and raving and lose your crap sometimes and going wild, crashing out. Imagine how bad it would be if I wasn't taking the supplements. Okay, do you understand? So it's like it'd be strange if you never were kind of worked up if you told me no. So if it hadn't been for what I learned about supplementation, what you can do to manage anxiety and stress and calm you down and all these other things, I might have been dead or in prison or psycho a long time ago. Okay, and I'm looking to enjoy my freedom and keep my freedom. Now I'm not like clinging on to that. It's like I'm looking to keep being able to do quality work. Okay, so it's getting dark in here. I might have to turn on my light. I got an Edison bulb, and we'll turn that on pretty soon. Let's get back to Penchaklan Brothers. So this is audio number 4. File name episode 3005, it says. So I reckon he had thousands of episodes. It maybe was like the last year that people downloaded and mirrored before his talk show went off here. See, CL, Chuck Langberg, TS, talk show, 120297, E, 3005. So I reckon this is episode number 3005, quite possibly. 06/19/2012. And I think that he died 2013. 06/19/2012. Now there seems to be a discrepancy where sometimes if I look at the archive, it says episode 3 number 5 and it goes, this is talk show recorder number or something, and it doesn't match. Now it could be a different archiving. It can be a whatever.
In April of 2006, it was 4 years later in May 2000.
So my name is Mike. I'm a Christian talking video. I'm talking about the secret prescription called gang stalking. I live in Oxelösund, Sweden. I was born in 1999. I've been talking this gang stalking program for more than a decade. And check that out, but take it away.
2010 that I finally discovered the term organized stalking on, and gang stalking, and I finally started to YouTube those. So I've only known about this issue of organized gang stalking for 2 years. So yeah, absolutely, it's a secret. It took me 4 years, and when people make the statement around here, well, everybody already knows about it. Everybody does not know about it. It took me 4 years to come to the conclusion that that's what this was. And when I read it on Gang Stalking World, by the way, and I finally found it. Wow. Gang Stalking World. Actually, where I found it was on the Portland Mercury. It was on their blog, Portland Mercury. That's Portland, Oregon. And they had a description. It almost sounded like I should have written this. And it was written by a Canadian kind of a guy. And he said, what is happening is you are being gang stalked, a term that's called gang stalking. And he wrote, and I've seen that term restated and rehashed many times. I've seen him paste that same text into many blogs. So he has done a great thing to help to get the word out, this guy.
Now, one of the main authorities of gang stalking is this woman named Eleanor White, and I love her comic strips. What's your personal take on her comic strips? Do you think there's crazy talk in there, or do you think it's sound? Because people who are listening are going to be grasping for straws.
Yeah, and that's Eleanor White, spelled W-H-I-T-E, I think. I like the heck out of her comic strips. She does them from like about 25 each, 25 of them from Peter the Perp standpoint, and another 25 from Tommy the TI or somebody like that. And it's like every one of those things, like comes close to mirroring me. There are a couple of three things, and I don't want to get into what they are.
No, don't.
Because I try to avoid the far out talk. That there are a couple of three things in there though, in her Tommy the TI that I find a little far fetched. And if any reason that I was ever to give them any credibility, it would be because she took the time to put them in her comic strip. That, honest to God, that's the only reason that I would ever, they're so far fetched. But that's only 2 or 3 of the 25 strips. The other 25, it's like a textbook on perping. Peter the Perp from the Perp standpoint, and Tommy the TI from the TI standpoint. They're pretty good.
And also too, do you know any other authorities that would be good for beginners who are recently being started, who can grab onto where there's no crazy talk?
I don't know. I don't know. The only thing regarding the crazy talk, let me just address that for a minute. If it doesn't, to the people that are out there listening, and they're going to hopefully be listening to this in 100 years, that this is public domain and it is yours. You own it. Please republish it in 100 years. But the people that are listening to it, if it's not happening to you, if it sounds wacky, it probably is. That's been my personal observation. Everything that happens to me is completely explainable. I have never found anything that I can't visualize from a realistic perspective as being real. I mean, from earthly, let's put it that way, something earthly. No, none of this wacky, woozy, far out stuff.
Now we'll start nailing some of the questions I asked in the chat room, and now we will begin with, you've heard of Leon Trotsky. He worked with Vladimir Lenin in communist Russia. He was the second in command, and he has a quote: "You may not be interested in war, but war is interested in you." And what's this have to do with gang stalking? Well, do you think that there are people who are in neutral? And I'm going to rephrase the question a little bit. Do you think people who are in neutral, but can be threatened or drafted into it? In other words, we have this scumbag over here. We don't like him, and we know that the talents you have, like being a locksmith or surveillance and so forth, we want you to fix this guy. Do you think that most people are neutral, or do you think when the screws are really turned, do you think most people would cave in, or tell them to go blank themselves, or lash out?
I think here's the deal. Just something that I know nothing about, like a locksmith. If you're a locksmith, the perps know where to find you, but you can't go out and find them. That's the first thing. And there are an endless numbers of perps out there that can harass you. So you really don't have any choice but to play ball. If you're not already a perp when you got in there, you don't really have any choice but to do what they want you to do in the first place. And then there's the guy's car, his family, his business taxes, his home. I mean, they can shaft you in any number of different ways. Essentially, if you're a locksmith, I hate to pick on them, but you're the one that brought them up, Jeff. What I'm saying is, I don't think you have any choice but to play ball. I don't. Can you trust a locksmith? I don't know. I guess you can. But if you're a target, they're going to get into your place when you're not there. God, I just hate to say that. It sounds so incredible. I'm just telling you. They want you to know that they've been there. They'll leave stuff behind. They'll move stuff around, so they, in my case, the last place I live, I don't smoke, and I never have.
I don't smoke
There was
either.
a cigarette butt one time in the unsmoked in my restroom. They left it there. They wanted me to know. God, and I flew off I saw that in there. I mean, I was really annoyed about that. Yeah, I walked around spitting and cussing, and and I was really ranked about that. But that's the effect that they wanted. I almost called the cops. I almost did, because my place had been, and I didn't do it. And it's now that when I got into once I understood after May of 2010, once I understood about this gang stalking thing, the last thing you want to do is ever call the cops. The last thing you ever want, because they're going to say, "You sound crazy. We need to send you to the funny farm, and they'll come and haul you." I really, that's never happened to me. But I have heard about it enough times that I believe it. So it's a good thing I didn't call the cops about it. Never ever call the cops if you're a TI, if you're a targeted individual.
No,
there you go.
No, this gets better. Basically, I have another question here too.
Sure.
Is why don't people think critically when they get any gossip on someone, or when a person receives gossip? Why don't the average sheep take the bogus information at face value?
That's a good one. God, I can't wait to answer that question.
Yes.
There's this guy here, and I'm not even going to say his name.
No.
That has he's a perp, and he's got a show here on TalkShoe about perping. Oh, we're so misunderstood and walked on and all that, and he's one of the disinfo agents. But this one time I logged on to his show as a guest, and I'm just listening to him talk, and he took like 5 facts about me, and he distorted every friggin' one of them. And he did that by adding information, by leaving out facts, by distorting, it's just like 5 completely different lies, about me. Pardon me?
It's called spin.
Yeah, 5 kinds of spin. So I don't know why people, and they were good. I'm not sure if he took a class, if he got the talking points from somebody, an expert who took the class. I'm just telling you, it was totally, I had heard that before, that about the spin about people, but it was never about me. This time, those 5, it was just like rat, tat, tat. And I don't think he knew I was listening in as a guest, or I don't think he'd have done it. But he showed me their hand. He showed me the perp hand when he did that. It was incredible. And even today, he plays so innocent. And that's the thing about the perps and many of these shows around here is they play so innocent. Oh, they hurt. Oh, I can't believe you're saying that about Chuck or Van or whatever you want to call yourself now. Oh my God. How could you call me a perp? That hurts, man. That really, I'm telling you, he's acting.
Wow. Now, because you see, I know our school system has dumbed down the generation of children, but even older people are in on this, and that's my main question, which is about thinking critically and being able to discern the BS from the truth, and calling people on their gossip, because not all gossip is true. I mean, a lot of gossip. I mean, Bruce Lee said, "Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear." And I always go by that medium when somebody says something about a person. I keep it in the back of my mind and see if there's a second and third witness and see if there's concrete proof. That's how investigators do their investigating. I mean, what?
Sure. I mean, the one thing, I concur with you there.
Yes.
But one thing that is totally amazing, because I spend a lot of time on TalkShoe.com.
Yeah.
Where we are now, you're interviewing me, and we're using their resources. But I spend a lot of time in the chat room and listening to the conversation, and I just see guests coming in all the time. They don't even have a login name, and that's fine if the show host wanted to enable that feature. They just have a guest. But I have seen guests. They log in like in 2s and 3s. And they slander somebody. Usually if they're slandering somebody, that person is probably a target.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a reason why they're doing that, and they're mobbing up on them, and I'm not sure where. I guess it was the that here's just a plain old guest making comments, and they sound so good.
A troll.
Yeah, they're trolls or whatever you want to call them, but they're slandering and they're mobbing. And it's incredible, and it never ends.
No, here's another good one, which is and this inspiration actually came to me. It's not in the chat room, which is a person can be sued for slander means something you say about a person. Let's see here. You have
Libel.
Libel is something that's written. Aren't the perps and the handlers afraid of getting their pants sued off of them if that perp or victim is able to prove that he's not all the things that they say? At the very least, to open themselves up.
I don't think they're worried about it at all. From what I've observed here, when I've been, I spent a lot of time on TalkShoe.com. From what I've observed here, anything goes. Pretty much it's up to the host to mute somebody if they're out of line. And I have seen usually it's guests. But even the people that aren't guests have a pseudonym login, so it could be J Doe or whatever, and type stuff. And not only that, but people that know how to circumvent this system on TalkShoe, there can be 3 or 4 J Does. So, I wouldn't recommend. I don't know how to do it. I don't want to know how to do it. What I'm saying though is I've seen that happen. You can actually tell, and I'm sorry to get technical here, but you can tell by the user number. I've not seen that the user numbers would be different, but most people aren't going to know enough to look at the user numbers. What I'm saying is that you can be a guest or you can be a login. Is very rare that somebody uses a real name. So pretty much anything goes here.
Yeah, I'm just throwing that out there, and I'm not even talking about TalkShoe. I'm talking about just on the street and workplace mobbing and that kind of stuff. Just like the guy on BMO. I don't even know his name. In fact, I mean, the guy's good. I mean, and basically it's a video to help explain and expose a form of torture known as gang stalking. But anyways, I'm gonna get back to these questions because I really nailed some really top-notch questions out there that would benefit the people. Right here. Do you think a lot of perps are drawing a paycheck or some kind of perk for perping?
I don't know. I think the higher level ones probably are. You can kind of tell who they are after a while, but you can't prove. You can never prove it. They generally drive fairly nice vehicles. I mean, the higher the ones at the higher echelons. I don't know how that works, but the one thing I do want to say, let me just say this little commercial for myself. This is Chuck. I'm on TalkShoe.com, show number 120297. You can find me there. You can find these recordings there. But I want to record. I want those perps. I want anybody, essentially TIs or perps. This show is about organized gang stalking. I do want to interview perps with real voices, not in the chat room and not with voice changers that are calling in. I'm talking about with a real voice that's not phonied up. Because I already give up on the fake stuff because they game the system. But when they have to use their real voice, it's a little bit of a different deal. But I want to interview those people. I want people, maybe they went to the doctor and they know they have only X weeks or whatever to live.
Yeah.
Hopefully, while their mind is still working, they'll give me a call. I'm on here right now as of June 2012. I'm on here like every day for large chunks of the day and night. So give me a call. And if you push if you call in to this phone number that's on the screen, and let me interview you, it will be in the public domain, and it will go live.
Unlike yourself, because you hang out in talk show, I listen to a lot of Patriot radio, conservative radio, even a lot of mainstream stuff when I get a chance. But I've kind of cut back on it. But there's a pastor named Pastor Lindsey Williams who in fact worked on the Alaskan Pipe Project, and he was a chaplain to all these elite oil men. And what's this have to do with somebody dying? When you talk about somebody who has a few more weeks to live, the thought came to my mind, which is Pastor Williams and this anonymous person who is giving him information on what's going on in the world. So I figured I'd just throw that out there, because when somebody doesn't have too long to live, or so forth, or are so old they're tired of it, they do spill the beans.
You know, when you're ready, anybody that's out there that wants to spill the beans, you call me if you want to talk about this issue of organized stalking or gang stalking. I'm the guy to talk to, as long as it's down to earth stuff, because I will not kill the recording if it sounds legit and if you're not gaming the system. There are no other shows out on that I have seen on TalkShoe that TI, the targeted individual shows, that most of them are not legit. They're under the umbrella of FSCHS, and they're illegit. They're against targets. What I'm saying is you won't get a legitimate opportunity to be interviewed, to spill the beans. And not only that, but what will happen is perps will call in and disrupt the call. They'll start doing it in the chat room. It's incredible. But what I do when I'm doing, well, you're interviewing me, but when I push the go button, the first thing I do is shut down the chat room, so that takes the minds off of the chat room and onto the interview, because this interview is going to live 100 years. And the other thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to destroy the interview. If it's legit, I'm not going to zap it. And that's one thing I've seen about the stinkheads at freedomschs.com is they will kill any content that gets the word out, the legitimate word out about organized stalking. That's their purpose in life, is to not get the word out about organized stalking. So,
this is why I'm banging out all these questions, because I know it's going to live forever, and I know it's going to be a textbook for future victims to at least think about this stuff. And one of the questions I put in the chat room that continues with the line of drawing a paycheck is like a promotion at work for burning a victim. So in other words, a perp burns a victim, whether it's verbally or otherwise, and then all of a sudden, lo and behold, he gets a promotion. Like there's a group of Freemasons at work. I mean, Freemasons do this in the court of law. Like if you're a lawyer, defense lawyer representing a real scumbag, that defense attorney does one of the Masonic hand signals with the judge, and that scumbag gets off the hook.
Yeah. So and you can never prove it.
No, you can never prove it unless you know the signals. And I know some of the phraseology they use. I mean, Freemasonry, especially in a court of law, that stuff is real.
Yeah,
But
I think so.
But anyways, let's see. What about hazard pay for the purpose because the victim lashes out? I talked about some of the legal stuff that victim can do, especially if the victim knows a private investigator in their family, or knows a couple of really top-notch attorneys. Or an Indian tribe or something like that. In other words, would they have a close knit relationship with somebody that can do some legal damage? But what would happen if the perp? What would happen if the victim had military training or something, and so forth, and decided to lock and load them? I'm not endorsing it. I'm not endorsing this. I'm throwing this out there as a thought for perps listening, because the perp will hit a victim, and that victim might be unstable. So,
one of the things when I first started my shows back in late August of 2010, there was an endless crew of people, and they not only wanted to talk crazy, but they wanted to get me talking about, it seemed to me pretty obvious that they wanted to get me talking about anything that had to do with guns, knives, anything weird like that. They wanted to get me on the record to see if I had tendencies like that. And essentially, what I did back then is I shined them on for a while. Then I started to mute them. Now they don't ask so much anymore, but the perps want to get targets to incriminate themselves. And you can bet this: if there's one perp that's harassing you, there is another one that's backing him up, and he's probably filming you. So if you're a target, if you're a TI, a targeted individual, the chances of them having you on film breaking the law is really, really pretty high. I'm not a lawbreaker anyway, so I don't have to worry about that. But
me neither. But and then I put in the chat room. That's why I would never be a perp, because if I was a perp, that would be going. I'm serious. That stuff would be going through my mind. Or what would happen if I was harassing a minister, for instance, who was an otherwise good person, and I know deep down inside that minister is a good person, and that I might not live long if I keep messing with the minister, because I might stroke of a heart attack or something. You just don't touch a minister in that kind of aspect. I mean, these if I was a real bad guy, thoughts like that would be going through my mind of the consequences, whether physical, mentally, or otherwise.
And let me just tell you something about those perps. I think a lot of perps are. It's not just. I mean, it's cops, it's firefighters. They're essentially paid. It's municipal workers. They're expected to participate to some degree. It's on other professions like locksmiths. It's even people in churches. You don't know that they belong in those churches. But regarding I lost my thought. Regarding the I lost my thought, Jeff.
Ministers? No, that's okay. I got this. A perp has to look in the mirror at his or her immoral activities and know.
That's what let me pick up where that is that those perps, you may take the bait once when you're just John Q. Doe and somebody's trying to get you perp your neighbor. They want you to participate in harassment of your neighbor down the hall.
Drop dead.
But if somebody commits off themselves, and if you participated in that conspiracy to where they committed suicide, you are in on it. Now you participated, pal. You gotta. Now, if you believe in your maker and what have you, then one day you're gonna have some explaining to do. And if you don't knock it off right now, if you continue to participate in that sort of thing, essentially you are a killer. And what I'm saying is that I am making no holds barred that people that participate in the harassment of other people who, first of all, they may have believed the lies. They should be smart enough to know that. But even if they weren't, you still, if you participated in the murder or the suicide of somebody else, then you got some explaining to do. And by the way, that really shuts up a lot of perps who come into this chat room when I say that.
Oh yes, because they might not know what they're doing, or
they never thought of it, that they were part of a conspiracy to kill. But that is what this program is about. They want people, for some sick reason, they want targets to off themselves. I guess they have parties. They think that's like real cool stuff. I can't even imagine the mindset that goes with that of victory, I've heard, by the way, I have heard, I'm sorry, Jeff, I'm jumping all over, but I just wanted to interject this one thought, that Satanists, from the very offset, I had heard that Satanists were involved. Not all of them, just a chunk of the people that are involved. They have covens, and there's 13 people in each, and I guess that's the maximum size. And they get off in it. That's what they
Well, that
look
makes
just
sense.
like you and I and everybody else. You don't know who they are, who you're dealing with. Go ahead.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, a lot of corporations have witches and New Agers and stuff like that. That what you're saying makes sense.
Yeah, I never would have thought so, but it's started to maybe make sense to me recently. Now that I think of some of the stuff that they do, it's pretty incredible that a human being would do that. And they just think it's great. It's not just cats and dogs that they kill. It's literally people.
Oh, of course. I mean, William Schleblin is a good name to look at in that aspect. A former Satanist who came to Christ and so forth.
How do you spell that last name?
I can't spell it off the top of my head. I'm not going to run and grab it.
That's right. But people find it if they want to Google it.
I'm just throwing it out there. But the thing is, a lot of these workplaces have New Agers, government places have New Agers, and occultists. So what you're saying is a true statement. Now, let's see here. Let's see here. If perping is this bad in good times, in other words, when people are making some bacon, when people aren't feeling the pinch, stuff like that. If perping is like this in bad times, what will perping be like when the average person has no money coming in? In other words, when there's a collapse in this country, and the country goes belly up, which I believe will happen because we owe Red China our lives basically, for trillions of dollars in debt, and so forth. What would happen to the average person? Would they get worse, or would they get better?
I think possibly. I think though that probably. I can't imagine how much worse can be, but I think they'll make do. I think they're pretty bad. There's a lot of them. They're extremely well organized. It's incredible. It's above the government level. It's above state, county. It's above U.S. level. It is a worldwide protocol. There is no. I've heard the comment said. I'm jumping all over here, but I've heard the comment said, on like some TV show, some cop will say, "I'll have you followed. Why, there will be no place in this world that you can go to get away from me." You know what? There's quite a bit of truth to that, because it's all over. This organized stalking is all over the free world. It's in Canada, U.S., Australia, New Zealand. It's over in Europe.
Western industrialized countries.
And in supposedly in China and Russia and thereabouts, So evidently there is no place that you can't go. And that is the amazing thing, that when people think they're going to get away from the stalking and harassment, as I did early on before I clued into what's going on. It's called gang stalking. But before I clued into that, you think, well, if you just move, it'll go away. You know what? It won't. It will follow you. You will be harassed at the next, whether you go to a different zip code across the river, to a different state, to a different country.
But here's the caveat. When you're in the big cities, it's worse. When you leave the big cities to go out to where it's less centralized, where there's hardly any union workers or government municipal workers, where it's more farms and so forth, you're not going to get the crap.
I think there's some truth to that. I don't know, because I've primarily just been in the populated area of Vancouver, Washington, and Portland, Oregon since I became a knowing target. That's where it's. But I do believe what you're saying, that when you move out and about, when you go out to the outback, there's less people. They're amazingly sophisticated people, though. They're amazing. Where are they coming up? Where are they? John Q. Doe, where are they coming up with all these friggin' people?
Well, I'll say that towards the end, because of my security background and so forth. I can give some insight on that. But this is an interview with you. We're going to keep on the interview right here. Let's see here. Because of the financial collapse, everything evolves. I mean, you have what's called microevolution. I mean, which is an animal or a bird will adapt on a very small level to adapt to their environment. I don't believe in evolution because I'm a Christian, but born again. But when it comes to microevolution, I believe in that. And since everything evolves, where do you see perping going to in the next 20 to 30 years?
I don't know. You asked that in the chat room a while ago. I don't know.
I know, but since this is on the record, I'm throwing it out there since it's being recorded.
Sure.
And since
Sure. I'm telling you, I don't see it getting any. Well, I don't know. I was going to say I don't see it getting any better, but I wouldn't be on here trying to get the word out, because I am trying to get the word out to targets, to targeted individuals that don't even know they're targeted yet. They don't even know. And when they learn that they're targeted, the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to go out and find some schmuck organization like freedomschs.com. They're going to give them their name. That'd be the worst thing you could do, is give your name to somebody like that.
Oh.
But where is it going? There's got to be the chink in the armor. There's got to be some way to get the word out about this.
Because
those people out there that are stalking on the street, they're not only stalking real potential criminals, they're stalking people for revenge. You know, you annoyed me. I'm a important person, a politician. I'm the fire department, or I work with the cops or what have you, or my brother is in this secret society or what have you. That it's not just about lawbreakers, and they're using the same resources for the lawbreakers as for harassment, for getting even. They're harassing people, and they want them to know they're being harassed, and they don't want the people around them to see it. They want it to be invisible to everybody else. They'll talk. It's called directed conversation. They'll talk about things that you know what they're talking about, but the person nobody else will know, but you'll know they're effing with you.
Now, have you ever heard of the term called swatting? SWATING.
I heard about that the other day. Help me out a little bit. What does that mean?
Yeah. I'm typing it up on my computer. Basically, roughly, it means if a person doesn't like you, they'll call the police department and say Vancouver just murdered somebody, and he's screaming Heil Hitler, and he has blood everywhere.
So they're calling the what do you call it? The police, the SWAT unit. That's why they call it swatting.
And you'll be.
I had never heard that term before you brought it up the other night. Swatting, where they call the SWAT, the police SWAT on you. To F with you.
Yes, and you'll be none of these, and you'll be sitting back there watching American Idol, eating popcorn. You'll be none of these, and all of a sudden, bang! The SWAT team comes in through your door, and you make a wrong move, and Clyde with the MP5 blows you away, and he says, "Oop, oop."
Yeah, I have heard that. I have heard that term. That's one thing that they do. They use legitimate resources on you.
Yeah.
It's totally amazing.
I found it right here. Swatting pranks starting around 2002 increased in the use of internet technology to carry telephone traffic, created a new practice, dialing public safety, and there's a one on conservative bloggers, and this is being aimed at conservatives, like anybody that really goes against the grain, and it says right here, Fox News. Right here, but this about gang stalking, but this is part of it. I found it right here. It's so great what you can do on the internet. Conservative bloggers taking precautions over swatting attacks. Conservative bloggers are on heightened alert following a string of so-called swatting incidents and are taking precautionary measures to ensure they don't fall victim to potentially dangerous potential.
Well, if there's a way to harass somebody. That's what this program is about. That's what it's all about. Swatting is probably just another new term. Another one. Oh, what the heck is?
I'll define it. I found it right here. Fall victim to the dangerous prank as the political blogosphere prepares for the heated election season. Swatting refers to a hoax in which an
That's all right. We're on an interview here, though. That's all right.
in which an anonymous prankster falsely reports a violent crime at an unsuspecting person's home, prompting a police team to respond to the location, believing a dangerous situation is at hand.
Okay. Can we get the short version? Okay, let's keep this thing going here. I'm sorry, Jeff.
I'll do that. Right here. Do you think they will? Do you think they, meaning the government, the police, stuff like that, will arrest PIs in this police state, or just plain kill them?
I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be a place. I think we're getting there. I don't know. I don't think that. I don't know. I haven't got a thought on that.
And then right here, like a purge of PIs. Then let the rest of the average. I goofed. Basically, this has happened in history. Hitler's Germany, or Stalin's Russia, or the Dark Ages under the Catholic Church, and because Stalin had his purges, he purged his internal cabinet several times, even his leaders, and so forth. And this will go public, I believe, and basically this will be the signal for average people to toe the line.
Well, here's what I think. I think we have an opportunity. It hasn't happened yet. And I think we have an opportunity to get the word out about organized stalking. I think if most people knew that they were being gamed, that they were being told lies and exaggerations to perp and to harass people, I think if most people knew that, they probably wouldn't participate. You know that, and so we have an opportunity right now. In June of 2012, we have this opportunity to get the word out about this issue of organized stalking, and that these guys, you know, that it's not. They're saying you're a bad person, that people should participate in the perping of this person. He needs street justice.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what they're saying. But they're doing it to get even. They're doing it to get that person's assets.
Yeah.
What have you? It's illegitimate.
Oh yeah. Just like the state wants the farm to run a highway through public domain, and so forth. And I found another thing I put in the chat room, which is it talks about do you think the concept of perping will be fully public? In other words, if it's fully out in the open, and the chilling effect, or the chill effect I put in, will be people saying, I cannot give my opinion because it will ruin me. Plus the sheep will say, everything is fine, the president is good, you must leave. I do not want to be stalked and then taken to a camp. I'll add concentration camp. So
yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen or not. I just it's totally illegitimate. When it happened, when it started to when my relationship started going downhill in 2005, when I started having to move many times in my RV that I was living at the time, like every 6 or 8 months, something would happen. When I finally, I can't prove it, and I don't want to get into the laundry list of things that went wrong with the RV, but lots of things went wrong with the RV. And I literally had to get rid of it and move back into an apartment. And when those things started to happen, I didn't get it. I never got it until 2010. I finally realized. And then you know what? Then the harassment increased. As soon as you discover that there's this issue called gang stalking or organized stalking or mobbing, as soon as you discover that that's not coincidence and that it's not you, it's a protocol that's being used against you. As soon as you catch on, and you like I did at the PortlandMercury.com, when I found that on gang stalking, when I found that my harassment increased amazingly a lot to a highest, I would call it, to the highest harassment ever, if that were such a thing. And I'm changing the subject on here. What else you got there, Jeff?
Oh, no, I got plenty because I want the people out there to think.
Please.
Another thing I put out there is what causes a person, from your experience, are the handlers FBI, Homeland Security, Freemasons, big corporations with deep pockets? Who would you say would be the handler?
I don't know, but I want to interview them. I'm sorry, that's not the answer you were looking for. The answer is I don't know. I don't know who is involved in doing that. One thing I want to tell them though is I want to interview you, and I'm the only guy that I know. I don't know anybody else that wants to get this word out like I do. And you can find me, and you know my voice and my attitude and what have you. What I'm telling you is that everybody, all these other TI shows on TalkShoe are shills. They're dirty. They don't want to get the word out. But if you want to get the word out, I'm the guy to call.
Okay.
If I knew of somebody else, one day, Jeff, I hope to have that. I hope to have that. Actually, my interview number 1016 on TalkShoe show number 87161 is of guest 7, and she was a perp. I mean, she did participate in the as she said, she got a kick out of it. She participated, and I want 100 like her. But if anybody's out there and you're listening to me right now, my name is Chuck. The TalkShoe show is 120297. Give me a call anytime. Don't tell anybody that you're going to call, by the way. Do not key it into an email or anything. Don't mention it to your dog. Nobody. It's just you, yourself. You call that number 724-444-7444, and you key in 120297. That's area code 724-444-7444. Call ID number 120297, and then pound sign.
Okay.
And follow give me a call. I'll interview you like you've never been interviewed before, and you won't be derailed by the perps who want to derail it. It happens. I'm telling you, it happens all the time. When there's a good topic on some of these TI shows, when there's something that's too good, it's getting the word out too well, somebody calls up to derail. It happens nearly every time. Go ahead, Jeff.
All the people in the chat room. Oh my goodness. I mean, we must be making a real dent here. But anyways, right here. What is the common thread? In other words, the common denominator that causes a person to be a TI? Is it A, speaking against the government? B, I'm gonna say this verbally because I'm better verbal than writing. Irritating the wrong person, or C, going to certain events like the Tea Party, or belonging to the wrong groups like the John Birch Society or any conservative or anti-government organization, what they consider subversive. I mean, like you said, they just want your assets. I mean, plain and simple. And personally, I hate the way they use the term vigilante justice, because when you think of vigilante, you think of some desperado that's just an evil, murderous person, and the court can't get him as cowboy justice. And everybody knows that this guy.
Yeah, it almost sounds noble. It sounds like it's from the cowboy days, you know.
Yeah, cowboy.
But, essentially, it may have started out to be a good idea if the guy really had it coming, you know. But what I'm saying is they've subverted what it was set up for. They use and abuse, and they want your assets. You know, everything that you just said are reasons why people. And the one thing that you did leave out, though, is it's generational, too. These guys are so sick, they want to wipe out your bloodline.
Yeah,
you don't have to believe me. I'm telling you, anybody that's out there listening, if you don't want to believe me, then don't. I'm telling you.
I believe you because you know that makes that to me makes sense. I mean, I'm the reason why I'm throwing out the vigilante part is because when I was a kid, especially when I was a kid, I used to read comic books like The Punisher, because the Punisher went after bad guys, and this is why people like Charles Bronson and people like that, because the bad guys look through the system, and the bad guys get it.
I remember that series. I never thought of that. That was a long time ago.
Chuck, the Death Wish series, and that's why I'm throwing it out there to the audience, because that's what people think of when they think of vigilante, which is the Daredevil, the Punisher.
What I'm telling you, the people out there that are listening though to this,
yes,
there is a protocol in the world, and it's called organized stalking. I'm telling you, people get put on a list. Some people may deserve it because they were in prison or because they made threats about national security or what have you. But some people are put on the list out of revenge, and they don't get a trial. They just get put on a list, and they're screwed with by the same resources. And if you participate, if you're one of the neighbors down the hallway that participates against, if you're the one whose phone rings and says, okay, walk out, same time entry and exit is what it's called, walk out, just to harass the person. And to the point where the last place I lived, like literally every time, I don't care what time of day or night it was, every time I walked out and came in, there'd be somebody out there. It primarily came out of about 4 units, by the way.
Now,
when you participate in that, that's not to say that it's legitimate. Now, you may hear a story. They may show you a picture. Look at here, and he's a pedophile. They love to call everybody pedophiles. So I hear. I don't know what they're saying about me. They don't want you to know. And not only that, but if you are a neighbor down the hallway, or if you are in the block watch, the first thing they're going to tell you is, now don't talk to him. Don't compare notes, because if he hears that they call him a pedophile, he can say, that's not true, I'm not.
Exactly. Well, wait, no, because I like when I do an interview, I love getting into history. Back in medieval England, there was a group of people, and it's called the Star Chamber, and basically it was extrajudicial justice. That's roughly because I want to keep the flow of the show going, not to bore people.
Sure.
But basically, look it up on Wikipedia, the Star Chamber, not the movie with Michael Douglas, though that's pretty good, and you see a modern version of the Star Chamber, but the ancient version of the Star Chamber, they basically just killed you or did some kind of extrajudicial justice, and that was the end of you. And it started, and it was the Star Chamber was an English.
What we have today is mobbing and stalking and harassment.
Yeah,
it's totally amazing.
That said, at the Royal Palace of Westminster until 1641, it was made up of privy councillors as well as common law judges, and supplemented the activities of the common law and equity courts in both civil and criminal matters. The court was set up to ensure fair enforcement of the laws against prominent people so powerful that the ordinary courts could never convict.
And that all sounds good, and that all sounds fine and dandy, but in this case, they don't even tell the person being harassed. They don't even tell them that they were that they had their trial. They weren't invited. No, you don't know that it was a fair trial. How are you going to have a fair trial when all they want is your assets, or because they want to get even with you because you did the American thing? You spoke out about an injustice, but that got you listed. That got you harassed for the rest of your life, and possibly your family too.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty rotten, and they didn't give you a trial for that.
Well, this is where the kicker is. When you read something, there's what's called the kicker, which wraps it all up. I'm seeing what I sense as the kicker. Court sessions were held in secret with no indictments, no right to appeal, no juries, no witnesses. Evidence was presented in writing. Over time, it evolved into a political weapon, a symbol of misuse and abuse of power by the English monarchy and the courts.
And what term is that on? Is that on Wikipedia? What was that under, please?
Yeah, Wikipedia. Just
under what term did they search to find that, please?
The Star Chamber. That's all.
Star Chamber. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I have not heard. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Now, as I was saying before, let's see. The purpose was made public. Basically, when it comes to extrajudicial justice and so forth about speaking, you know what? The person could be killing a patriot like myself who would do no harm, who's not a threat to security, and so forth. And this is what I'd be thinking of if I was a perp, which is am I harming a fellow patriot? Am I harming an otherwise good person? I mean, because you see all these prominent people dropping dead like flies, like Andrew Breitbart and other people. There's a patriot named Chapman. I forgot his first name. Robert. I think his name is Robert Chapman, and other people like that. I mean, patriots are just dropping dead like flies, and
nobody knows why, but.
Natural causes like Andrew Breitbart, which is the more prominent one, died of a heart attack. But I'm just saying this off the top of my head. I mean, there are weapons that can cause, and I'm not talking the crazy talk. I'm talking poisons that can cause a person to have a heart attack. I mean, these are old spy weapons used back in the 1950s.
So what else you got question-wise? What else do you want to hammer me with?
I'm sorry.
Preferably out of the blue.
No. Okay. Basically, I'm gonna wrap it up with this because I've interviewed you for a while. I just want people to think about this. There's good people out there, and also you can use your iPhone to take a picture of somebody, send that picture on Facebook, spread that portrait of the person all around, and if you're close enough to the person, get an audio of what he or she is saying. These iPhones and these smartphones are very amazing devices. You can text, and depending on how good it is, you can screw a person just by taking a picture of them and getting their audio. So the surveillance is out there. You can do research on your own on the internet. And look up micro cameras and microphones. You can stick in a radio. You can buy this anywhere. This is not James Bond stuff. So we do have the technology to create the new world order.
And I am looking for the silver bullet, so to speak, from a metaphoric standpoint. I'm looking for the answer to that. I don't know, honest to God, Jeff, man, I don't have a clue what it might be, but it doesn't stop me. I do focus on a lot of things that are bad, but I am really looking for the answer to that. I don't know what it is, but if you know what it is, come to my show and tell me, please.
I forgot something, and I have to see if I covered everything. It's crazy. No. Basically, when the system does collapse, do you think that perps will just say, screw it? We have nothing more to protect. I mean, because look, the Stasi. I'm gonna give you history. You can find this on YouTube. The German Stasi in East Germany, which was based upon the Cheka of the Soviet Union. The people just got sick of it, and they had a peaceful protest, and they just barged right in, and they looked at the files of everybody that the Stasi checked up on.
And that was pre-internet. Now we have the internet, and it's a lot easier to. Now we have cell phones with everybody on the street. We have satellite surveillance.
I'm gonna look this up right. I'm gonna look this up right now because I like being factual when I talk. East German Stasi, and you can find a lot of YouTube videos on the German Stasi. East German ERMAIN Stasi STASI. I think I got it right here. And you know what? I mean, if the Stasi wanted to fix you, like if one of the party heads wanted your girlfriend or something like that, I mean, you'd really get screwed royally. I mean, and it was the secret police, and right here, Ministry for State Security, and that's what it stood for. And one of the more prominent people who was the head of it was Erlich Miki, and basically they ruined a lot of people's lives. And when people went in there and they shredded files towards the end, they shredded files, and they're still putting the files together to find out what these people did. I mean, people actually got real jail time and you know, beatings and stuff like that, and
Okay.
and so forth. But
so have you got any other good?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish up.